Alrighty. Well, hello there, Darren. I can't hear you just yet. Let's see if we can get you off unmute here.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Hello,
All
sir.
right, there we go. How are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well.
Good, good.
Doing very well.
All right, let's see the shirt.
Wearing my OMD If You Leave t-shirt
nice.
from
oh yeah, I see the swing, the carousel swing.
Yeah,
very nice.
Picked that up on their last tour.
Edgar, you look like a force ghost. I don't know if that's intentional.
Oh my gosh, he does.
We can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah. No, funny thing is I have my laptop in front of a computer that has the old Vortex Space blue background running Windows XP. So that blue is reflecting off of the front of me.
Use the force, Luke.
That's awesome.
The funny thing is I'm wearing a Trek shirt, so it's kind of weird.
That's
There
funny.
you go.
I'm being caught mid-transport.
Hey, Mark, we can't see you. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but can you hear us? Yeah, Mark, you're. I think that you were trying to talk. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I saw Brian in with his mask on.
Yeah, I see Brian there walking around, and I see Ron.
There he is. There he is.
There's Mark. There's
Cheers.
the sexy man.
Oh, I should go get a beer. I know it's only noon here, but
well, go get a beer. You still have time. We still have about
no, okay.
Still got about 5 minutes before we start.
Too early to drink. I'm good. I have my water.
Right on.
It's so good to see you all, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron and I always see each other, but I don't see anyone else.
Hello, gentlemen.
There's Brian B.
Brian, there he is.
Hi,
How are you guys?
How are you?
Wow.
Looking sharp there. I like your hat.
Are you out like
out in the sun? Our daughter just had a soccer game, so we're heading in the car to get some lunch. So you're probably going to go back to my pocket, but I'll be listening in.
Oh, good. Okay.
You look at an absolute peach in that hat.
Yeah.
I know. It's my Peruvian hat from Peru, so it looks pretty awesome.
It looks very Peruvian.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, you're off to my pocket. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Hey, Mark, can you turn your phone sideways so that like it fills the screen, or is it, do you have it upright?
It's upright. Yeah, I can turn it the other way if you want to.
Yeah, just so it fills the screen. Then you're a little bit bigger, I think. Let's try
I've got to find out how to do that. 1 second. Oh, now what's happened?
Mark's gone dark.
1 second.
We're getting there.
And a hello to Ron as well. Nice to see you, buddy.
Hey, Ron. There we go. That's better, Mark.
Music videos where my face is half shadow and half light. I'm sitting next to a window here.
Right. You got that every breath you take thing going on, right?
That's what I was thinking of. The one Phil Collins when he did "Don't Lose My Number" and he was recreating all the videos.
Right.
So,
That out of the Erotics The Secret album.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And hello to Nick. I think Nick is here with us. Doesn't have video on, but welcome to Nick.
Yeah. Hi, Edgar. Let me see who else is here. Hi, Ron.
Hey.
Hi, Sean.
Ron. Hey, Sean. And you got the Dazzle Ships OMD shirt. Very nice.
Very dazzling.
Nick. Hi, Nick. If he can, his microphone's off, but he's here.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick is here on his iPad.
Sean, I absolutely love that shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of dig the dude that gave it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Nice to see Well, hello there, sir.
Hi, and hi to everyone else.
Glad you could join
Hello.
us today, Nick.
Who is that?
Yeah.
I can hear a voice. I
Mark.
can't see anyone.
That is Nick.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, where are you, Nick?
Nick B. Yep.
Where are you, Nick? Come into the light.
Oh,
There you
yep.
are.
There he
there's
is.
Nick. Hey.
Oh, hello. You got
Hello
people
there.
with you as well. Hi.
Hi.
Female.
Yeah,
is Laura.
that's cool.
Hello,
There's
May.
Hi, May.
Good to see you, May.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Oh, good. That means my audio worked.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Mars just messaged. Can somebody post the link?
Yeah, I'll do it right now. I've got another screen open underneath me here, so I can do it
Okay.
right now.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark.
Very good.
You see, you're dragging me kicking and screaming into the century with technology, you guys. I'd normally be terrified of all this stuff, but I've had to sort of give myself what do you call it? What's the word? Like a when you start from scratch, you know, like ground up training.
Darren, I'm kind of surprised you're not out by the pool today. I mean, come on,
It was tempting, but what happens is the dogs get out there and they start squeaking their toys, and it would drive everybody mad. It drives me crazy. So I have to lock myself in the studio.
We're having a little bit
the
of
beat lab.
We're having a little bit of a cold spell here. They call it blackberry winter, so it's kind of
yikes.
cold snap.
Really?
I'm wearing the hoodie today, so
yeah.
But
Nice.
it is a gorgeous day out here today, I must say. Brian, you could tell from Brian's view too.
was calling me from the Soul of Synth-Pop after party.
Yeah.
Somebody's
I got
calling me.
I got a phone call too.
Yeah,
We all got it.
Uh-oh.
not me.
There's
them.
Mars.
Somebody
How is
called
How
everybody.
is Mars spelling his name? How is Mars spelling his name?
He's
Them.
he's joining now, Mark.
Right, everybody, it did it.
There
Everybody.
he is.
Mars is here.
Oh, he's already in here.
There he is. Hey,
Yep,
Mars.
There he is.
Hey, Mars.
Okay.
Hi. I was just sending you a message. Oh, I can see what I've done wrong. There was 2 S's. I put 2 R's and an S. That's why.
All right. Okay, we'll give about another minute or so, and then I'll get started. Got some people are still coming in here. Looks like.
Somebody
Maybe I'll
started a
put some-
video chat on the Soul of Synth-Pop.
Maybe I should put some.
Oh, it was
music
Brian.
on
I wonder
for-
if he butt dialed us. Hey, Brian, if you can hear us, I think you butt dialed everybody with the video chat.
I'll put a bit of feather light on for us while we're waiting.
He did say we were going in his pocket, so.
That's right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Mark. Is that a Stella that you're drinking there?
I was going to say, so this is an all-time first. I don't drink lager and beer because I don't like the taste of it. But tonight, I don't know why, I normally have it diluted with lemonade for the summer, like a summer drink. But it just tasted really nice. And Mum and Dad had lots down there at a barbecue, so I stole one.
Very nice.
Stella gets me in trouble.
It probably will me later because I don't drink alcohol, so it'll probably have a really bad effect on me. Especially because I'm taking so many tablets at the moment as well. Great.
That bottle looks like a product we have over here is called L81, or you call it L81. It's a type of ginger ale. It looks very similar to that bottle. It's bigger.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't tend to drink. If I drink, I tend to drink white wine, lemonade, or I tend to drink gin and something, but it's more for the taste. As a rule, I don't tend to drink alcohol. So,
I'll go get some.
I don't have that same rule.
All righty. Well, if I can ask everybody to, with the exception of Darren and Mark, of course, to mute themselves, we're going to go ahead and get started here. And first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for joining me here for the second ever Soul of Synth-Pop Zoom Spotlight series, and especially to welcome my wonderful guests, Mr. Mark Bebb and Darwinmcd, and they are the wonderful duo of Darwinmcd and Mark Bebb. And these guys got together about a year or so ago and released this absolutely magnificent single, which is one of my absolute favorite. In fact, it was my favorite release of 2020. This is, of course, the CD single for Featherlight, and just one of the most amazing songs that I've heard in a very long time. They followed that up a short while later with this wonderful remix album, Featherlight the Remixes, which features 8 tracks and has remixes by some of my personal favorites like People Theater and Matthias and Mind Machine, MDA, Reed and Caroline, of course, also did a wonderful remix. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also the Reed and Caroline mix actually got the distinction of being played on Vince Clarke's synthesizer show, I believe. And if I'm wrong,
It did, yeah.
correct me there. And then, of course, the most recent release that Darwinmcd and Mark Bebb have is this amazing little baby right here. This is their current single, Mirroring, that came out just a few short weeks ago. And all of the music that Mark and Darren have done so far, and all of the releases are just absolutely essential releases to anybody that is a fan of synth pop and just good music, good pop music, just really fantastic stuff. So before we get started asking some questions of Darren and Mark, for those of you that are catching the show after the fact on YouTube, just to introduce a little bit about myself and what the show is about. My name is Jim Kelgard, and of course that's Jim with 2 M's, 1, 2, count them, yeah baby, that is me. And I host a weekly internet radio show called The Soul of Synth-Pop on Radio Plus Israel, and it happens every Sunday. And I play a combination of classic synth-pop tunes along with some of the most prominent up-and-coming and indie synth-pop artists from all over the world. And really enjoy doing that, and really just enjoy discovering new bands and whatnot. I'm also one of the members of the synth-pop act known as Eminent Soul, based out of Bountiful, Utah and Endwell, New York. And I'm both the lead singer and the main songwriter and synth guy for that. And I'm also in my, what I do for a living, I am a professional audio engineer and music producer. I've been doing that for just about 30 years or so. I have a small studio that I operate out of in my home in Bountiful, Utah. At one point, for many years, I was a member of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. So I'm a veteran of attending many Grammy Awards over the years. And I'm also a former member of the Audio Engineering Society, which is a professional organization of audio engineers, record producers, and people involved in the recording of sound, I guess you could say. Synth pop is my passion, and I love synthesizers. I've been playing synthesizers for probably about 35 years or so. And synth pop specifically is my passion. I love the music and I love the artists that create it. And so I, in conjunction with my radio show, The Soul of Synth Pop, I created this new series, which is called the Zoom Spotlight Series. And what I do is I invite some of the artists that I play on my show to tell us a little bit more about who they are. And we get to know them a little bit better, get to learn a little bit of how they do their creative process. And those of you that are music fans and specifically music equipment geeks like myself, there's all kinds of cool things that come out of this show. So welcome all of you that are tuning in live. We have some wonderful folks here that are participating live. And of course, a big welcome to Darren and Mark. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and kick into some questions here. When I finish with the interview, I'm going to open up the floor, as it were, to all of the wonderful participants to ask any questions that you may have of Darren and Mark. And the whole idea of this is we're just going to be laid back and easygoing and just have fun wherever we can. So,
hey, Jeff,
yeah.
I mean, before we get started, not a question, but I noticed Sean had an awesome OMD shirt, and I'm wearing the Anything Box shirt. Maybe we could just go around and just show our cool band T-shirts.
Right on. That is cool. Anybody else wearing a band T-shirt other than myself and Sean and Randall? There we go. Nice one, Sean. Like that. All righty. So let's get started here. Darren, we'll kick things off to you first, and
Right.
if you would, please tell us just briefly how you got started making music, and more specifically, what is it that drew you to the genre of synth pop?
So, gosh, I've heard this a bunch of times from other folks, but we had a piano, big upright piano in my house growing up, that had a couple of out of tune keys, but I was drawn to it from a very early age. Probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old, just pounding on that thing. And as I got older, I started, you know, trying to recreate the music that I liked that I was hearing on the radio. And then what really drew me to synth pop, I'd have to say, was listening to K-Rock. So that's a very popular Southern California radio station that they played, at the time, alternative, synthesizer based music, guitar music. But yeah, there were a lot of bands on there that I really was gravitating to. Obviously Depeche Mode, Erasure, The Cure, The Smiths, New Order, you name it. So that's what really got me into synth pop. And I got my first synthesizer in I think I was about 16 years old. Still have it. It's right behind me, actually. And just really was wanting to make music and started using that to do it. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So you mentioned so some of your favorite artists when you were starting out there with synth pop were Depeche and Erasure and New Order.
Yeah, I'd probably the ones that really inspired me the most, I think, that got me like really wanting to do music, was Howard Jones and Thomas Dolby. Obviously I'm a massive Vince Clarke fan, so Yazoo and early Depeche and Erasure. But I think it was seeing Howard Jones and Thomas Dolby behind a huge bank of synthesizers performing, by themselves at sometimes. And I was like, I want to do that, right? They've got all the keyboards, and that was just, or Nick Rhodes, even from Duran Duran. I mean, he was a big influence as well, early on. So, but yeah, I mean, for sure, New Order, another massive influence. So yeah, and Depeche, Alan Wilder's major influence. Love his sound architecting and design, and just the way he can arrange music is, I think, unparalleled.
Fantastic. Right on. And Mark, same question to you. Just kind of tell us briefly how you got started in music, and was synth pop your first love musically? I think Mark's on mute. Oops.
Sorry, I
There we
hadn't
go.
realized I hadn't taken the mute off. Sorry. Apologies. Yeah, nobody really wanted me as a pole dancer, so I had no choice really. I think of something else quick. So it's singing seemed to be a natural option. No, I've always when I was young, I had a neighbor who lived just opposite me, and was essentially too old to sort of struck up a friendship, but we were just so completely out there that we did, and he introduced me to a world I'd never been sort of exposed to before that. Bands like Japan, Depeche Mode, Dead or Alive, Kraftwerk. It just went, the list went on and on and on, and I only heard one. I think I heard 2 songs. I think the first one was the 12-inch of You Spin Me Round. I think it was the Murder Mix. And I think after that I heard Set Me Free, Remotivate Me, the B-side of Master and Servant by Depeche Mode, and that was it. My life had changed. I think within a week I had a Casio CZ 5000 synth, which I nagged my parents to buy me. Yeah, that's essentially it. But yeah, I started off having piano lessons as a kid, and the songwriting. I started songwriting at the age of about probably, I think, 11. I started songwriting quite seriously at about 11.
Excellent. So who I know you mentioned Depeche and Japan and Dead or Alive. Who are some of your other big influences? I'm assuming like Yazoo and Erasure?
Yeah,
whatnot?
so well, of the obvious, all the usual suspects, really. I mean, there's so many. I'm not going to bore you senseless, but it'd be Depeche. My sort of 5 constants are always up there: Depeche, Erasure, Kraftwerk, Dead or Alive, and like Yazoo. But there's a couple of others that have always been constants that I don't tend to advertise very much. So one of them is Front 242. So I'm a
Nice.
massive Front 242 fan because I'm very much into industrial rhythm and electronic rhythm. So I like bands like Enschede Sender Neubauten, Nitzer Ebb, stuff like that. A lot of mute artists I love. Yeah, Bronski Beats, big Bronski Beat fan, early Bronski Beat. You know, you listen to the albums like Hundreds and Thousands or Age of Consent. I mean,
Right.
just absolute classic albums if you're an electro head like me. So, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Darren or Mark, either one of you, feel free to answer this one. How? Tell us how your musical partnership came about, and you know, how did you find each other, and how did it evolve from there?
Do you want me to go
Mark, you-
first, or
Go ahead.
I'll go first? Yeah. Well, actually, what happened was there was this dark room in Barcelona, and no, I'm joking. It's okay. That was a joke. No. That really was a joke. No, and a bad one. No, what happened was I'm a natural people watcher, so I tend to stand on the sidelines or in the shadows without sounding too creepy. But I tend to watch from afar artists that I like for a while, and then if I really like what they do, I usually private message them or something, and hope to God they don't think I'm too weird. Either that they know me somehow, or they might have heard something I've been involved with. But I kind of literally, it is that organic. I like something. If I like it and it's consistently kind of my bag, then I kind of approach them and say, look, you know, I really like what you're doing. I know you don't know me, but would you like to maybe do something, you know, together collaboratively? So, and I was watching Darren for a while. He was doing stuff with Huguenot and other things, and then I saw Click with Eric and a couple of other things. There was, yeah, and I think that sort of was a honey trap for me, really. Because I could hear what he was capable of doing. So
Fantastic, Darren. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I mean, so I'd done a remix for a song that Mark did with Matthias, Matt Danforth, called Hold Me. And I had messaged Mark and said, hey, here's my remix, you know, because we hadn't really communicated. I think we were friends on Facebook, but we hadn't really talked or anything at the time. And I of course, I knew who Mark was. I knew about Shelter and Form, and was a fan. And I was a little nervous on I sent him my remix saying, like, what do you think? You know, and he was very kind and said it was good and all. And then, yeah, I think it was just, you know, weeks or, you know, maybe a little bit later when I forget if I reached out to Mark or he reached out to me, but we started talking about collaborating and just kind of developed this really quick friendship, and collaborating was super easy.
I think you were boy crushing a little bit.
Yeah, I was for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right
so yeah.
on. So, and we didn't really cover this when we started here, but for those who don't know, Darren is based in Southern California in the U.S. and Mark is based in the U.K. So that leads me to my next question here, and that is, does the fact that you guys live on different continents and you know, separated by what, 5,000 miles or so worth of space, does that complicate your ability to collaborate creatively with each other?
Absolutely not. If anything, I actually think it's easier because you don't have the complex logistics of travel to factor into anything. So technology has meant the world is a much smaller place now. So obviously digital file sharing, it makes everything so accessible and easy, and it's not as cost prohibitive as it was years ago, because most people got at least a minimal studio setup at home, so you can keep costs to a reasonable you know, level and manageable between you. And also, you know, Darren's got his studio over in California. My brother is the guy that records me and my voice, and then Darren produces my voice up and does all the studio trickery, you know. like Adam and other people know. So there's, you know, there's certain trickery that goes in. So to make me sound great and tuned and timed and make me sound like I know what I'm doing. But yeah, we're lucky because I can record 2 streets away in my family studio, and then Darren obviously does his bit, and then we consolidate it in California.
Fantastic.
Yeah, in some cases, Mark has brought me into the studio on like a face chat thing. So I've actually been in the studio with Mark while he's recording his vocals, and that was really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, because that gives you. Sorry, it's good because it gives Darren the ability of influence. So sometimes if I'm doing something, I'm not 100% sure if it's something he might like or if it's something that is not. So I want to make sure it's not musically discordant with the original vision he had for the song. So if he's actually watching me in the studio, he can stop me at any time and say, I like that second part, I didn't like the first part, can we do that again? And there's been times when Darren has actually said to me, actually, can we try this? Or can we try this? Interjected in the thing, and I love that. Yeah. I love that guidance, and I love you know, I love the fact that the song can flex and change even as it's recording. I love it. Love it.
In fact, there's also that one time where you were recording vocals and the music was playing in the monitors, and I had to let you guys know that, hey, you might want to turn off the music when you're recording your vocals next time.
Yeah, we left the monitors on.
I'm like, I think I heard the music on that one when you were recording. You're like, oh, shoot. So
yeah. I don't think I said shoot, though, did I?
No, I think it was a little more colorful than that, but.
Scheisse. Right on. So Featherlight, as you know, was my absolute favorite song of 2020. For the Soul of Synth-Pop, I actually awarded it Song of the Year because it was so impactful to me. I loved everything about it. And so using Featherlight as an example, would you tell us how the songwriting and creative process between the two of you works? Like, for example, and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit here, but you know, does Darren already have a melody or chord progression established, and then Mark pens the lyrics after hearing Darren's music, or is it vice versa? I mean, how does the, you know, using Featherlight as an example, how does your creative process really get started typically?
I'll go first if you want. I don't mind. Okay, I'll go first. For me, I work numerous different ways, but generally speaking, if I collaborate with someone, I have less to do with the music side of it. So the music will be sent to me, or say, for example, somebody will send me 2 or 3 tracks. They say, look, is there anything here that sparks your interest? And then one will normally bite me. It'll just jump out instantly within literally 5-6 seconds, and I'll know instantly, I think that's it. That's the one I want to work on. And this, it's quite polarized like that. I'm quite polarized in that way. I just know, I just get an instinctive gut feel for something. I always ask that there's no melodies on there or top lines, because it's too limiting for me as a songwriter. I don't like to be pushed into a corner where I'm forced to write lyrics or a theme around a melody. The reason for that is, naturally, sometimes I get to hear a stronger melody, but unfortunately, because I've already heard the first one, it's already burrowed itself into my head and I can't get rid of the first melody. So actually, in essence, even though I might be able to prove on it, I can't shift that first melody from my head. So it actually does me a disfavor in many ways as a writer, because first and foremost, people who don't know much about me, I'm a songwriter first and foremost. I was a songwriter long before I was a singer. So I can write songs in their entirety alone. I sit at the piano, write a song, not a problem at all. So for me, my writing head is always faster than my singing head. So I always say, give me a generic blank canvas of a song, obviously make the music exciting or good enough that it ignites me in some way, but don't guide me. Let me do the arrangement. Let me work out where things are going to go. And the people I work with, like Adam, like Darren, and so many other people I work with, they give me the free rein to do that now. And I think the results, they tend to be more organic and more authentic. They're more authentic because I have so much free rein. I can literally take the song in any direction. My gut feel, you know, I get a gut feel for something where it needs to go, and I can take it there rather than be guided or limited by a melody that's already impregnated into the track. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's fantastic. I really find that fascinating that you like to not have the melody included in the music bed that
No.
Darren sends to you. That is so cool. That is so cool. Very unique way to do it. Darren, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about earlier, when Mark and I decided, we really wanted to work together. I had just been working on some music, different ideas, and I sent him a couple. And then when I sent him the music for Featherlight, I want to say it was pretty much done. I mean, from my perspective, right? Like the music side. I think I only ended up making a few changes, minor changes after that. But Mark took that and just wrote these hauntingly beautiful lyrics, and then went off and recorded some amazing vocals, harmonies, melodies that just to this day, it blows my mind, that what he did with that song. So yeah, blushing. But yeah, no, I after that experience, and I always, like I said, I was a fan of Mark's. I knew that he was a professional, consummate professional. And after that experience, anything we work on, I just send him the music if he likes it. Fantastic. And I trust so deeply that he's going to come back with something unbelievable. And he's done it again with Mirroring. We've got some other work that we're working on right now that, yep, there it is. That I, like I said, I have absolute trust in Mark's abilities and his songwriting to come back and just blow my mind. And that's been pretty consistent so far. And then another thing we're doing a little bit differently, or will be doing, from what we've traditionally done or worked together on, is Mark had recorded some vocal melodies and lyrics that he had already written. And he sent me those stems, and I'm going to try to write music to accompany those vocals. So it's a little bit, for me, backwards from what I'm used to. I'm used to just sitting down and coming up with music and then asking somebody to pen some lyrics and write vocal melodies and sing on it. So I'm really excited about that opportunity because, like I said, it's very different from what I'm used to. And I for a change, I'll hear Mark's song and be inspired by him to write music. And I've already kind of listened to it and have some ideas, but to really sit down and come up with a full fleshed out song, based on existing vocals, that should be really exciting and fun to try out. So
fantastic. Well, as I've said since last year, I think that Featherlight is the greatest song that Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe never wrote. So it's really just
wow.
That's coming from a big Pet Shop Boys fan here. I
was gonna say, in my dreams.
Yeah, same here, right?
Yeah. So Mark, I mean, your lyrics are just they're so sincere, and I really love the lyrics that you write, and not just the stuff that you've done with Darren, but also your work with Shelter, which is another band that I absolutely love that you've worked with. So how exactly do you? I mean, what is your process? What inspires you when you compose lyrics? Is it do you draw from any place specifically, or is it just kind of whatever happens to be in the moment that's going through your mind or your heart?
This is probably one of the only questions I get asked quite a bit. Also, I get asked which order comes first, what comes first, the lyrics, the melody, and it's hard to know if it's like chicken and the egg thing. There's no prescriptive strategy for songwriting. Lots of people come up with these wonderful books about, how to for beginners, how to songwrite, let me tell you one thing I've learned about business and life. If someone had a prescriptive formula for success, they are hardly ever going to share that with you. So, there's a reason why people say things like that, and it's not altogether honest. But I will say this, for me, I will always write honestly from the heart. So a lot of what you hear, whether it's Form or Shelter or with Darren or whoever I'm collaborating with, one with Adam coming up, the songs I write are real life, real worldly songs, because otherwise I just don't see the point. What's the point of writing about something no one can connect with or relate to? It makes you as an artist unrelatable, and it makes the subject matter complete pathos. It has to have some meaning, it has to have some depth and substance, but I tend to use a fusion of real life. I tend to spill blood on the canvas, but I try to not make it too personal that people can't read their own life story into the song. The narrative everyone should be able to read their own narrative into the song. So
Right.
I leave it generic enough that my personal details are not in there, and neither is the people or person I'm writing about. But I take stories other people tell me and anecdotes. So friends of mine confide in me different things, and I'll sometimes not, it won't necessarily be about me, but I will write about a tale they've told me or something harrowing that's going on in their life. Sometimes I will write something purely fictitious because I've got the most ridiculously wildly imaginative, mind. So
Right.
I'll write something completely off the wall. But I also write quite ironic and satirical things, like on Ascend, the second Shelter album.
Right.
We did a song called Icon with Breathe of My Leaves, Stefano Barbaras, and I wrote that almost a parody about myself, because if I went somewhere, people would say, oh, yeah, not words I'd ever thought I'd hear somebody say, oh, you're an icon, or you're a pop star, or you're this or that. And I wrote that song as a sense of, with a sense of irony, that all of a sudden in this life, it seems that anyone can just be, what's the word, like famous for being famous, or just,
Right.
I don't know. I don't really understand this kind of reality world where people are famous for like no justifiable reason. So
Yeah.
I kind of wrote that as a joke about myself, which I thought was quite humorous. I don't know whether people got that, but yeah, I take it, I pull, so going back to your question, I pull sources from everywhere. I pull it from my own experience, other people's experience, my fantasies, although not all my fantasies would be, appropriate to spill into a song, but I try where possible to explore the caverns of my brain but I always try to be as honest as I can and as reflective as I can. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Darren, kind of a similar question I'll pose to you. When you compose music, whether it's for Mark or for your own solo work, do you begin the construction a certain way? For example, do you come up with again a chord progression first, or do you work on the rhythmic component first? Like do you come up with a really kicking beat? What is the general insight into how Darren McDermott approaches his arrangements?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes, I'll just be at the keyboard and, or piano and working on different chords. And sometimes, a chord progression will come out of that, and I'll keep developing that until I'm ready to, okay, I like that for a chorus or a verse or something. And then start going to the synthesizers and, the sounds, and coming up with a bass line that complements the chords, and kind of build the song that way. Other times I'll just be at the keyboard with the synths and playing around with different sounds and bass sounds, or trying out a new synth. And I'll play something like, that's a really bitchin' bass sound, I'm going to kind of build something on that, and then I build a song around a bass line, which sounds ridiculous, but I don't know, maybe some of my colleagues on the call here could agree. It just depends. And a lot of times, it just depends on what gets me to sit at the keyboard, right? It's either, oh yeah, there's a new synth out, I want to try it out, or I hear a song I'm listening to, or on the radio, or just music I'm listening to on Spotify, and I get inspired, like, oh, I like that sound, or I like those pads or something like that, and the way it's played, and I'll think I want to try to recreate that to some extent, right? The sound or that kind of feeling that it gave me, and that's usually what inspires me to start writing and putting something together, and it just goes from there. If it's something I'm excited about, I'll keep developing it. And I've written songs that I started at 10 p.m. because I was in the car hearing something, got home, started working on something, and stayed up till 3-4 in the morning because I just couldn't leave it, until it was like, it felt almost done. So so that's kind of how it goes sometimes.
Fantastic. Have you ever, and I would pose this to Mark as well, has there ever been an instance where you sit down and write a track and it just really comes together really fast. The reason I ask is that one of my favorite tracks that I wrote with Eminent Soul is of course Sway, and the way that I came up with that is I was just ironically enough, I was just playing around with the chord progression to the NXS tune "Never Tear Us Apart," and
Yep.
and then I was just messing around in my DAW and I came across a synth patch that was just really fascinating to me, and so I played that. I laid down just a basic chord progression and then put that synth on top of it, and then literally, at least musically anyway, the composition of what became Sway, the music part of it anyway, was probably thrown together in the space of about 2 hours, if even maybe a little bit sooner than that. You ever have an experience like that where just everything seems to just like, wow, I like that, and I'm you just kind of, it all falls into place for you. You ever had anything like that?
Every
Yeah, I
single
mean,
song for me.
go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say that happens for every song, or it doesn't happen at all. There's
Yeah.
no I've got literally, I would say probably 80, 100 or more songs as sketch pads of ideas, songs I've started, never finished. And in themselves, they're amazing songs, but I've never been able to find the kind of segue to join the verse to the bridge to the chorus, whatever. So I prefer songs that kind of write themselves. So Featherlight was written start to finish in 6 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, words, melodies, arrangements, everything. Yeah, literally. I write a song that quick. I mean, I can write a song on average, probably maximum 12 to 15 minutes, start to finish. I mean, once the song is right, once the music is right, the writing bit is easy. It almost writes itself. It's instinctive. Then I close my eyes and I hear the melody, and then I just sit lyrics to the melody, and I think of a theme. So the theme usually is conjured from the sound of the song. So if it's a dark, slow song, that will conjure a dark, slow feel for me, or something mysterious, and I'll write something probably a little bit more dark and underworldly. But if it's something bright and poppy and energetic and quite camp, then I'll write something very upbeat and very kind of cherry pop vanilla that goes with the mood of the song. But for me, all the songs I write, they happen very, very quickly, or they don't happen at all.
Excellent. Good to know. Darren, how about you? You ever experienced the same thing with your music?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was a song that I started at like 10 at night, and it just kept coming to me and coming together, and just really felt everything I did felt right, and trying different things. And by 3, 4 in the morning, I was like so tired, but I felt like it was in a really, really good place. I think I ended up, making a few adjustments when I woke up at the crack of noon the next day. To make a few minor changes.
Man, you really are a musician, aren't you?
Yeah, living the rock star life, right?
Yeah.
Sleeping until noon. But yeah. Sometimes and then other times, there's songs where I've built out
I've never heard that before. I love that.
I wish I could say I came up with that.
I should be lying in till noon. I'm a student. Right? I'm always up early.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, there's other times I've got like what I feel is a really strong chorus, but I just cannot get like the right verse, or complementing or like Mark said, combining or connecting a verse to the chorus, or from the chorus to the verse. Just nothing seems to be working, and until you finally get it, but that could be excruciating, because I'm very much a perfectionist, and I've got it. I can't do it until it's perfect and it works, at least to my ears.
Yep.
So
same here. So kind of shifting gears a little bit, Darren. We've been talking about original compositions. Is your approach any different for when you're doing remix? I mean, you've been an in-demand remix artist for a couple of years now, and you've done some remixes for Eminent Soul, and for Matthias and Mars, and for Mind Machine, and Hollow Love, of course, yeah. So is your approach to remixes any different than when you?
Yeah, I would say it's very different for me, because for remixes, I feel like it's not as much pressure on me. I think as coming up with my own and there's the music's already there. The song's already been written, and I'm just kind of maybe putting my own twist on it. So typically the way I approach remixes is I'll be listening to the original and over, and then kind of thinking, okay, if I were to write this song, or if it was my song and I was the guy doing the music for it, what parts would I change? Maybe a chord or a note, or it could just be like a sound. I'd probably use a different bass line or whatever. And then I always, just to give it my own sort of twist or spin, I'll replace the rhythm section, the drums and the bass line. And because those are kind of my favorite, like that kind of foundation, that core part of the song. I love the rhythm section for songs. And yeah, and then just try to come up with my own twist on it. And then depending on how it evolves, sometimes I'll use the original music stems, or some of them, and then there's times where I did a remix for MDA, Adam and Mars and Danny, and Adam just sent me the vocal stems and said, have at it. And I was like, wow. And that was my first remix. I'm like, great. So I get no stems, nothing. I just have to come up with all the music. And I did. It was cool because I felt like I got to like be part of the band and write a song with them. And that's kind of what I really love about doing remixes. I feel like it's my opportunity to collaborate with that band. I'm not just a remixer. I feel like it's like we've become a band for a short period of time, and we got to collaborate on a song, and I got to contribute music to this really beautiful song that was sent to me. So yeah, that's usually how it goes. But
you do a wonderful job. I can speak from personal experience. The things that you did with Sway just still, take my breath away. No pun intended. So Mark, I've been told by a lot of my friends in the UK that you are an absolute joy to watch perform on stage. And of course, over the past year, none of us have been able to experience really anything that we've come to know and love as live performance over the many years. But could you talk to us for just a quick moment about what performing means to you, and just what it does for you? How much do you love performing live?
Well, I guess I class myself as an artist rather than a performer. Mm-hmm. So there's a distinct difference for me between an artist and a performer. An artist is capable of doing everything, so they're able to write songs, play an instrument, structure a song, arrange it, things. So I can do all of those things as well. So the singing part, as I said, come later. I was in a function band for many years, and I ended up becoming one of 4 backing singers for some quite high-profile celebrities, and that's where I got my vocal experience, learning how to do harmonic layering and stuff like that. So that was my kind of what do you call it? That was my training ground for 12 years. That's what I did. So I drilled that skill. So the performance side of it, I was a performance disciplinarian before I was a studio disciplinarian. I think for me in a studio, I do have a tendency on times I can be a bit lazy. Lazy in a sense of I understand what technology is available. So rather than do the take absolutely perfect or do it like 15 times to get it perfect, I might do it 2 or 3 times and I'll say, no, that's the one. And it might be slightly out of time or it might be slightly out of tune, but that's the take. And the reason being is I couldn't recreate that expression. So Melodyne, Antares, lots of other bits of software, right. You can tune someone and you can time them. What you can't do, you can't inject feel into a song.
Right.
Once you capture that moment, that feeling, technology can't do that for you. So I know myself instinctively when I've got the right take and I say, no, that's it. I'm not doing it again. That's the one. And then the rest, then I sort of lazily leave, I guess, to the producer guys to actually, make it shine a little bit, But I think the performance side of it came later. When I stepped onto the stage, it was a completely different discipline, and it came as a culture shock to me. Sorry, the studio was later. Sorry, but my discipline was the stage first, so it was nothing new to me. I'd always been quite sort of, I don't know what the word is, flamboyant, eccentric. I've always been quite fearless. I've always worn what I like. I do what I like. I'm not really that affected by what people think of me in that sense. I don't think you can be as an artist, because the second you start being affected by what people think and say about you, you wouldn't leave the armchair. You know, you can't, you have to have a certain degree of thick skin and resilience to be able to cope in this industry. It's a tough old industry, and you have to be able to take the knocks. And I've taken more criticism and knocks than I have compliments over the years. So yeah, but I love it. The stage is where I come into my own. There's a moment before going on stage, 3 minutes, where I'm stood in the wings always, and I'm absolutely terrified. In fact, it gets worse as I get older, and I actually feel physically sick. I feel like I could throw up. And Rob Bradley, the Jekyll in Shelter, I told him once, the parallel for me with that is stepping off a skyscraper into nothing. That's what the feeling feels like. It feels like I've got no safety net. So anything I do beyond this point, there's no one to catch me. And it's a real sense of vulnerability, especially when you're like supporting a band like Erasure or the Human League. These guys are legacy artists. They've got, you know, huge following. So the opening night with Erasure, I felt so sick. I thought I was going to throw up in a bucket on the side of the stage, you know. And when I looked up in the balcony and saw Vince Clarke looking down, watching us, I just, for me, I thought my heart was going to come through my skin. Right. It was just, it's not, you know, it's a feeling that's exhilarating and terrifying in equal measures. But within about 3 minutes to being on the stage, I'm into my zone, and then I never want to come off it. Once I'm on the stage and I'm about 3 minutes in, that's when I suddenly realized this is what I was born to do. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you kind of mentioned a moment ago your opportunities of performing with some of the biggest legacy artists like Erasure and Human League. And could you just tell us for a moment how those opportunities, like how did the Erasure thing happen? Because of course I'm a huge Erasure fan, so I love hearing stories of people that get an opportunity to do something like that.
I just phoned Andy and threatened him that he would wake up with a horse's head next to him in bed if he didn't give us the gig.
Wonderful.
We've all seen The Godfather. We know how it works. No, I'm joking. Basically, I wrote a track with the Jekyll, and
oh, I think Mark is frozen. Andy Bell is messing with Mark's feed. I don't know if you can hear us, Mark, but we're not able to hear you. We can kind of see you frozen there. Are you there? Oh, modern technology.
I'm messaging him right now.
Okay. Sorry, folks, technology.
Yeah, I think something happened. It's not even delivering my message.
Uh-oh. Oops.
Yeah. Oh, I think he dropped off. Yeah. I'm sure he'll join back up.
Okay. Well, that's okay, because Darren, you're up next for the next question. We'll revisit that once Mark rejoins us. So Darren, are there any plans to take Darwinmcd out of the studio and onto the stage? And
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Come on.
I'm not a performer. It's never appealed to me. I love making music. I love the whole process of putting it together, working with other artists, but I really have no desire to perform. I'm just not a performer at heart. I would
not even as a one-off. I mean, come on.
Okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll stand behind a keyboard and I'll push a button, like I'll Vince Clarke it and just push a button and stand there and pretend to be playing. But yeah, no, I have no desire to actually perform and embarrass myself. But there's Mark. Maybe I'll. Well, it's funny because I've done other collaborations with, like you mentioned, Eric C. Powell and Richard Haggerty or Huguenot, and they've teased me that they're going to get a cardboard cutout of me and put it behind a keyboard when they perform the songs that we've done. So maybe Mark will do the same. I'll send over a life-size cutout of me, and maybe I could just have my hands over my head like Andy Fletcher and keeping everybody pumped up. So.
Right on. There's Mark. Happy to have you back there.
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
So, Andy Bell must have been messing with you or something. He's listening in, and he's like, Mark, I'm gonna get you about that horse head thing. So
no, it was nothing more complex than that. We'd sent this track via social media. He came back literally within 6 minutes of having the track, something like that. It was really fast. It was minutes, and I didn't realize who was calling at first. And it said, "Hi, is that Mark?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Hi, it's Andy," and I thought, I don't know any Andy, and I'm thinking, he said Andy Bell from Erasure, and I thought, and when he said Andy Bell from Erasure, I remember just going ice cold, and I'm thinking, is this a joke? Is this a wind up? He said, "No, hi." He said, "Just a quick call." He said, "I'm in Miami." He said, I've got to have that track you just sent me." He said, I said, "Yeah, consider it yours." Yeah. Consider it yours with bells on. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, I'll come over and record." He was coming over to London in the January. This was in the November, and he came. He was at the Mute studio with Gareth Jones in the January, and then he came down to our studio in Wales, the Shelter Studio, and then he ended up staying a whole week. And one song became, I think, about 12. So we released iPop then. So he while he was there, he was saying, "Oh, what else you working on? What else you working on? Let's have a listen. What other bits you've got going on?" So we were playing different things, and he said, "Oh, can I do this one? Can I do that one?" And we were like, "Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir, Andy. I am not worthy. I am not worthy." Yeah. But yeah, it was amazing. He's just such a lovely guy. He makes you feel, he has this beautiful quality about him, this beautiful angelic quality, and he makes you feel really comfortable really quickly. You actually forget you're in the presence of musical royalty, very quickly.
Right.
And he sat there a couple of times and watched the Jekyll and I, arguing over some silly arpeggio or some silly chord, and Andy was there laughing. He'd sit and laugh in the corner with his iPad, and then he'd have this beautiful way of diffusing the situation. He used to say, "Let's go upstairs, have a nice cup of tea and a piece of toast," and that's what we would do. We'd go upstairs for 10-15 minutes, have a little chat, and then we were sat the one time where we were watching Andy. Rob looked at me. There was the most surreal moment. I was sat at his dinner table. Andy Bell was putting toasted crumpets in the oven for us and making us a cup of tea. I'm sat on Rob's food table, and Rob nudged me, and I nudged him, and I went, "It's Andy Bell. It's Andy Bell in your kitchen." I said, "Andy Bell is in your kitchen making us a cup of tea. Can you believe this?" Yeah, so it was a bit weird. I mean, the first day we went to pick him up from the hotel, that was the scariest for me, because we were in the car outside the entrance foyer, and Rob and I said, do you want to go and meet him? He said, no, you go. I said, no, you go. He said, no, go on, you go. So we were both really quite scared almost. And as I stepped out, he was stood in the foyer, recognized him straight away. And I walk up to him. I said, "Oh, hi, Andy, I'm Mark." And it was straight in with a cuddle. And it was really quite natural from immediately. There's no, Andy doesn't have this kind of big celebdom thing. Neither does Vin. They don't like that. They're just very down to earth, very natural, quiet, unassuming people. These are guys who sold 25-30 million albums globally, and
Right.
and you would never think, because they're just so lovely and down to earth. And yeah, definitely. And the whole way driving to the studio in the car, the Jekyll was shooting me these surreal looks into the rearview mirror at the back. I was sat in the back, and I kept going, "It's Andy Bell. It's Andy Bell." And he kept rolling his eyes at me, saying, "Yeah, I can see. Be quiet." He was going like that. It was really funny. But yeah, there was a week like that. There was a week that every day I woke up, I had to pinch myself. I thought, I'm going to drive now in 20 minutes, be at the studio and work with one of my heroes. It just didn't feel. Yeah, it's one of those things that if I died tomorrow, I'd be really, really happy. Yeah.
That's such a wonderful story. I had the pleasure of meeting Andy and Vince twice over the last several years, and my experience with both of them is very similar to yours. Andy, I grew up admiring both of them so much, and Andy was just the most perfect gentleman, and just really really down to earth, and nothing at all pretentious about either one of them. And I was especially afraid of meeting Vince Clarke, because I was like, here is the man who single-handedly invented the genre of synth pop practically, and everything that I looked up to as a songwriter and everything. And he was just so approachable, and he, once I started talking to him about synthesizers, that was it. We were just in a great conversation for a little while, and just when it was over, I remember telling my friend that we went to the show together, and I was like, we just talked to Vince Clarke. Vince Clarke just shook my hand. Andy Bell just gave me a hug. I mean, I was like totally gobsmacked and starstruck, and it was just they're just such wonderful people, and I just I think the world of both of them, and that's such a wonderful story. Thanks so much for sharing that with us, Mark. Love that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, Darren, if you're willing to divulge the information here, I know this is kind of a little bit of a dicey area for some. Tell us a little bit about what synthesizers and equipment you use. What are some of your go-tos? I know you have both hardware synths and software. Tell us a little bit about what some of your favorites are.
Yeah, I got back into music probably about 3-4 years ago. As I mentioned, I grew up playing music, and I got my first synthesizer when I was 16. I think I got my second one when I was 17 or 18. And I recorded and made music with those until I was probably about 22, 23. And then life happened. I got married. I got college took over, and then a career, and then my son was born, and so music took a major backseat for a number of years. And then about, like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, I was exposed to some soft synths and DAWs that were like had free trials or whatever, and just started getting back in and trying them out, and like, wow, this is really cool. I can make some really pretty good sounding music with this software, and got heavily into that. And then that just evolved into me writing some new music and putting out some instrumentals, because I didn't have any partners or collaboration at the time. But yeah, I like various soft synths. I'm really digging the Cherry Audio. I think we've talked about those on
Right.
Before in the chats and stuff. The 8 voice that just came out is phenomenal. And then my DAW or DAW is Studio One Pro.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a product by
PreSonus.
PreSonus,
Right?
yeah. So I've really liked that, and it does the job. I mean, I don't want to profess that I'm not as a gearhead like I know some of you guys are. I wish I was. I wish I had the budget to do that. I pay attention, but I'm just not. It's not something that's terribly important to me. I love soft. In fact, I like a lot of the soft synths that are emulating some of the analog, but I know there's nothing like the real thing. But it's, for me, that's just, it's not what you use to make it. It's what the end result is. So
Absolutely.
but yeah, no, it's just convenience is really the main thing for me, right? These soft synths are, they don't take up a whole lot of space in your studio. They're all on a computer, and I have a couple of hardware synths that I mostly just for playing, just for writing and messing around. And then I have I recently purchased a keyboard controller, an M Audio, that I use to hook up to the laptop to do my soft synths. So that's just for not performing, but recording and trying out things and ideas, just to have that feel,
Right.
So yeah.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your Ensoniq ESQ1. Which,
Yeah, that's right behind me.
Yeah. That's, I'm a little envious of that.
Yeah, and it's in pristine condition. It's been in a box until about a year ago. I think it's been in a box for 20 something years, just nice and clean and safe and dust free. But yeah, I broke it out and then realized that I had the dreaded battery issue. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Ensoniqs, they have an internal battery that kind of keeps the memories for your patches and your sequences and stuff. that aren't stored externally. And the first thing, when that thing fires up, it has this flashing warning, battery needs to be replaced. And I went online and started watching YouTube videos on how to replace the battery. And let me tell you, it scared the crap out of me. That I literally have to take this thing apart, like almost like the manufacturer, and disassemble it to get to where the battery is to replace it. And there's like soldering involved, and I'm like, forget it. So I started looking into alternate solutions to back up everything and, you know, store patches and things like that. So, but yeah, other than that, it works beautifully. So I'm very happy that it's still with me.
Fantastic. So what just kind of getting into the fun realm here. What was the last live show that either of you attended? Not counting your own. What was the last concert you guys went to? Darren, we'll start with you.
Okay, for me, it was he's actually in the chat with us. It was Mars Erasure tribute band, and I think
oh, nice.
Brian, if he's on the call, I think Brian was with me at that one too. So yeah, that was not too long before the pandemic happened. So
yeah. Right on. Mark, how about you? What was your last show?
Well, it was actually a strip show, but you don't want to know about that. No, I'm joking. It was yeah, no, I'm not that brave. It was, I think it was Kraftwerk 3D. I went with a Jekyll. I think he bought me a ticket to go and see them because it was on my bucket list of things I've always wanted to do. While there was still like one original member,
member left.
But yeah, but still, you know, it was just such an incredible audiovisual experience. It's something I'll never forget. It's right up there for me. But yeah, I think that was the last. That was in Bristol. Yeah.
That was almost my last show. I actually had a ticket for me and my son to go see the Kraftwerk 3D here in LA. Yeah. And then the pandemic happened and they canceled the show.
For first time in my life, okay, now I've been living in Salt Lake City for almost 26 years now. And for the first time ever, Kraftwerk were scheduled to come and perform in Salt Lake City. Because every time I'd seen him previously, I'd had to travel to like LA or someplace like that. And sure enough, you know, it was scheduled last year, and the pandemic just kind of put the kibosh on that. I was so disappointed because I was looking forward to taking my son to see Kraftwerk, and yeah, right there with you. So what is an album? Doesn't necessarily have to be synth pop. What is one album you guys could not imagine yourselves living without? Mark, we'll start with you.
It probably comes down to two, but because you're forcing my arm to only have one,
do two. You can go two.
Okay, well, I think the first one would probably have to be The Innocence by Erasure, probably. But if I had to go with one, it would be Violator by Depeche Mode.
Very nice. Very nice. Darren, how about you?
For me, hands down, the Erasure, the Circus. That album changed my life back when I was a teenager, and just loved every single song, and not a skipper anywhere on that album. And the production, I mean, Flood and Vince working together, just the sound design on that album is just, I can't live without it. It's amazing.
A lot of Prophet VS on that one, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Right on. So what's your favorite track off the Circus?
For me, probably, God, they're all good. You know, it's so hard to pick one, but I think the one that really whenever I hear it, it gives me like the chills is "Leave Me to Bleed." I just
really?
That song, that bass line, just in the progress, how it builds up, and the drum beat, it's amazing. I love it.
Wonderful. See, for me, my favorite track off of the Circus, hands down, is Hideaway.
I mean, there's so many
Hideaway.
good tracks.
And
Hideaway is a beautiful song.
And I literally, I had tears in my eyes. One of the times I saw Erasure on one of their previous tours, they dusted that one off and performed it, and I was just, I mean, there was just something so magnificent about being there watching Erasure perform Hideaway, and it's been a song that's just always had a lot of meaning to me. I love the song, love the story behind it, or at least the story that it tells, and just Oh, great stuff. And
Yeah.
Mark, for you, for The Innocents, what's your favorite track off The Innocents?
Ship of Fools.
Ship of Fools. Nice. Very nice. Good. Okay, so Darren or Mark, if there were one living legend musically that you could work with, and we won't count Andy Bell because you've already been there, done that, Mark. What is name one living music legend that if you had an opportunity to work with, you would jump at it with everything you've got? We'll start with you first, Mark.
Martin L. Gore.
Martin Gore. Awesome.
Or Alan Wilder.
Very nice. Cool. Darren, how about you?
Just some guy named Vince Clarke, nobody major. I mean, obviously that goes without saying. I'm such a big fan, and that would be an absolute dream for sure. But yeah, Vince is definitely the George Washington on my Mount Rushmore of synth gods, and yeah, he's definitely the front and center for me.
That's awesome.
There's an anecdote with that, a really funny one. On the last but one day before Andy was leaving us, we did a track. It's on iPop. It's called "Lift Me Up," and Andy said we didn't know, but the night before he used his iPad and iPadded over the tracks to Vince in Brooklyn, and we were in the studio, and Andy was on a call, and I was just not thinking anything about it, just talking away to the Jekyll. And the next thing I know, Andy said, he had his phone like this. He said, guys, he said, do you want Vince to work on any of these tracks with you? And I looked to the Jekyll to the side to me. I thought, is that a question I actually need to answer? So I turned back to Andy. Yes, Hail Mary, yes, all of them, any of them, as many as he wants. Yeah. So I said, is that Vince? Is that as in legendary Vince Clarke, Vince on the phone? Oh yes. He went, yes, Vince. Yeah. He said, yeah. And then he was just so casual about it. He said, yeah, the guys would love that, Vince. Yeah, have a listen to them, see which one you like and get back to them. And that was it. And then the next thing we know, we had an email off him saying, I love this song. I want to do this one with you. And that was it. Just unreal.
Wow.
It just that week just became more and more surreal as the week went on. Even like it started snowing on, I think it was day 3 or 4, and there was an ice cream van that pulled outside the studio, and he ran out, he whacked his shoes on and ran out down the street, slipping and sliding on the ice to go and get ice creams. And when the ice cream man opened the hatch in the ice cream van, he looked out like a double take. He's thinking, no, that wouldn't be Andy Bell in South Wales. No. You could see his face though. He was trying to make the mental connection, thinking, hang on, I'm on a residential street in South Wales, and there's like a pop icon stood in front of me asking for an ice cream. This is just a bit weird. But no, you could see his face. And as we walked away, I walked behind Andy to give him a hand. I walked away and I said, yeah, it is him. Oh, yeah, it's him. It's him. It's all him.
Oh man, I love that.
There's loads of little anecdotes that week like that. It just got surreal. And then the tour afterwards, we had an email off their manager saying we had no introduction. We'd never met Michael at the time, who was their manager. And we just had an email out the blue saying, how about these, all the email said was, how about these 8 dates, guys? That's all the email said. How about these 8 dates, guys? And it was all these dates. It was 2 in the UK. I think it was like 4 in Germany and 2 in Denmark or something like that. And I took a minute and I read the email again. I'm thinking, who's Michael Pagnotta? I don't know who that is.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking, Reach New York? I'm thinking, who's Reach New York? So I'm looking at the thing and I clicked on the hyperlink he sent me. It took me to the official Erasure website and the Violet Flame tour. And then I phoned the Jekyll. I said, are you sitting down? I said, I'm going to read you something. He said, I don't believe you. He said, I don't believe you. He said, I didn't. I said, you didn't believe me the first time when we were doing iPop. I said, but you need to believe this. I said, I've just been on the hyperlink. It is the official source. And he said, forward me the email. I sent him the email. And then he said he was nearly choking. He couldn't believe it. We were going to be supporting him on tour as well. It was a like 3 key things. There was Andy, then there was Vince, then there was the tour. It was just nuts. Life is like buses, isn't it? You either get nothing or everything comes all in one go. That's the way it works.
You win the lottery, right?
Yeah, well, music is like that. Music is very much a feast or famine environment, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah,
very
it's
much.
all or nothing. It's
very, very much.
Mm.
So, let's see here. If what activities or hobbies do you guys have outside of music? Let's totally change gears here. What when you're not doing music and not working up strip shows, Mark, what else do you enjoy doing outside of the realm of music?
No, listen, my life is about as unrock and roll as you could ever imagine. I literally am such a homeboy, I'm like, in bed early. I watch the soap operas. I have nice cups of tea. I'm just so not rock and roll at all. But hobby wise, I collect vinyl. I love collecting vinyl. I collect colored vinyl, picture discs. Yeah, I collect too much jewelry. I collect too many shoes and boots. I collect too many clothes. I collect too much. That's the bottom line. I'm just a serial hoarder.
Right on. Darren, how about you?
Gosh, when I'm not doing music, we're a hockey family. My son's been playing hockey since he was probably about 7, so he's 18 now. We love watching hockey, me and him, and I love going to watch him play. I like eating, especially this last year. I've been eating a lot with the pandemic. This is all there is to do. But yeah, it just watching movies, I like some gaming, right. My son has an Xbox. I'll get on there, play some games every once in a while. But yeah, I'm pretty boring.
Right on. Well, not boring at all. I
wow.
I had the opportunity, as some of you know, when I was in Arizona last month, my mom passed away, of course, and on the day before I came back to Utah, Darren happened to be in Phoenix, Arizona, with his son, who was there to do a hockey tournament, and Darren and his son and I got to hang out for several hours together, and that was really awesome. So
yeah, that was great.
Definitely one of the high points of my year so far. So you mentioned eating, Darren. So
yeah.
let's go into this realm, because of course, anytime you're with musicians, food is inevitably gonna get mentioned, and of course, you guys all know how much I love tacos, right? So, so what kind of what are some of your favorite foods? Like when you're in the studio, or even if you're just simply lounging around, is there any particular go-to cuisine or food or snack that you guys like? I mean, I can see Mark holding something up there for us. What do we got there, Mark?
Oh, Mars.
We've got Mars
Mars
bar.
still here?
We've got sweet chili crisps. I mean, I'm terrible. If I'm in the studio, I'm just constantly snacking because I just need brain food. So I need chocolate, Coca-Cola, anything high sugar, high glucose, just so I can keep myself awake and keep writing and recording. But if I'm in a domestic setting, then I'm not a posh nosh person. I just like nice food. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive or fancy. The less fancy it is, the more I probably enjoy it. I eat a lot of salad stuff. I'm vegetarian, so I eat a lot of salad stuff. And I love Italian food. So I love pasta sauces and lots of vegetables and stuff like that. So I'm
nice.
Yeah, food-wise, I'm low maintenance.
Cool. We Sean, who's actually here in the event here with us, my eminent soul bandmate. We come from an area of New York where there's a really big Italian population, so we kind of got spoiled on Italian food and pasta and stuff. So to this day, that's like one of my go-to things. I love cooking Italian food, and I definitely love eating it. Darren, how about you? What are some of your go-tos?
Snack food. I love beef jerky. I couldn't be a vegetarian. Sorry, Mark. I could never say goodbye to beef jerky. Nuts, chips, those kind of things. When it comes to cuisine, probably my favorite thing to get is Japanese sushi. But I really, really love Peruvian food. Got introduced to that years and years ago, and that's kind of one of my favorite cuisines to to enjoy. My wife was born in Argentina, so we have Argentinian food every once in a while. And of course, Italian, Mexican food. I like pretty much all foods, but those are probably my favorites. Yeah, sushi's a treat.
Right on. Well, cool. And of course, the last question I have to ask you guys, because I have to ask this of everyone. Mark, do you like bunnies?
I love all animals. I'm an animal rights activist. So I stopped sharing them publicly, but behind the scenes, I do at least 8 to 10 petitions a week for animal rights protection. I work closely with Peter and I work closely with local government against things like soy dog campaign. I've been fighting that for about 7 years. So I do a lot of, because the images were so disturbing, people were getting upset by them. So I stopped sharing them now, but I still actively do them every week. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of animal rights and against animal cruelty. So I do a lot of that. That's why I became vegetarian. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I'm guessing you're also an advocate for banning the fox hunt over in the UK and all that.
You have no idea how many petitions I do for that. Yeah. And I will continue till the day I die. I will fight it till I'm gone. Yeah.
Good man. Good man. Good on you. Darren, how about you? Do you like bunnies?
Yeah, they're really tasty. I'm totally.
Oh, you horrible man! Oh
no, of course I love bunnies.
You are cast out.
We were talking about that third single. Remember
that? No, I would never harm a bunny. I love bunnies, of course, Jim.
Cool.
I actually I haven't seen it at the new house, but my old house, we were kind of near hills, and bunnies were a daily sighting. I would walk out and on my front lawn, there'd be like 3 or 4 in the morning, just mowing away on my grass. So yeah, I do like bunnies.
Cool. And for those of you that are watching that have no idea where the bunnies thing came from, well, some people like dogs, some people like cats. Okay, a lot of people like cats, but for me, I'm a bunnies guy. I've always loved bunnies, and bunnies are kind of my thing. So I'm a bunny guy, and I love bunnies, and I always like finding out that other people like them too. So it's just one of my.
I was a bunny girl once. Does that count?
Really? Oh, fantastic.
I've been known to wear lots of things.
When I was growing up, my family actually raised rabbits. We used them, took them to show, and of course I had them for pets, and so I just always had bunnies around me. And for me, it doesn't matter what kind of a horrible day I'm having. All you got to do to get me to smile is just show me pictures of baby bunnies or something like that, and the angry New Yorker just starts to balance out with the bunny stuff. So
Jim, what's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, forgive me, would have to be Christmas. I love Christmas.
It's not Easter? I was totally expecting Easter.
It's not Easter. I'm actually all the big candy holidays like Halloween and Easter.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a big candy kind of guy. I say that, but yet over here I have these Alexander the Grape candies here that I just love. But no, Christmas is my favorite holiday. I love just the whole lights and the snow and all that stuff. So Christmas has always been my favorite.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I agree. It's mine too. I'm a big child. I love it. I love Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that covers my interview. Thank you everybody for bearing with us. I'll now open up the floor to all of our participants that are here. So if those of you that do not have your video turned on, if you would like to interact and ask a question of either Darren or Mark, please feel free to just kind of wave your hand or something like that. And if you have a question, I'll have you take yourself off mute. Adam, we'll have you there if you want to take yourself off mute and go ahead and ask a question. You're on.
Yeah, first, you guys need to prove to all of us that you're wearing pants.
Not wearing pants.
I work from home, so I don't ever have to wear pants.
And
if I stood up right now, you would be traumatized. Put it like
Mark,
that.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on being a bunny.
Okay, so being a bunny. So there was this one time in band camp.
Too much.
No one can ever accuse me of not having a sense of humor. That's all I've got to say. I always, when I post my selfies sometimes online, people say, why are you always so sad in your selfies? Because I always say I'm smiling on the inside. So you just have to tap into it.
And of course,
I'm not going to ask if your first instrument was a flute.
That's as much as I can go.
and of course, we have to clarify in, you know, the whole pants terminology. Pants mean one thing in the UK and another thing in the US.
They do.
In the US,
here they're underwear. Here
pants.
It's underwear.
Right,
yeah.
and trousers are what you call pants over there in the UK.
That's right, yeah. So the answer is no, I'm not wearing anything under here, so no. So that's why I'm sitting down, not standing up.
Right on. All right, thank you, Adam. And Jay, hey.
Hey. Hey, everyone. Hey, this is a question for Darwin. What DAW do you use?
Studio One Pro. It's a PreSonus product. Yeah.
And do you have any favorite soft synths?
Right now, I'm really digging the 8-voice Cherry Audio, the OB. Is it like OBX, Jim? That's a emulator.
I believe it's an Oberheim 8-voice. The
8-voice, yeah.
What was it? The old SEM, Oberheim SEM.
Yeah.
They used to do them in a 4-voice and an 8-voice configuration. So.
Yeah, just really big sounds. It's just, yeah, it's really cool. It's got a lot of those like kind of cool 80s sounds that you know, it's capable of making. So yeah, I'm really digging that one.
I absolutely love the Cherry Audio stuff. I have not yet bought the 8-voice one. I'm kind of hoping that my wife or somebody buys that for my birthday, which is coming up in 2 weeks. And no, I love the poly mode.
Yeah, poly mode is good too.
The new track that Eminent Soul are working on right now, I'm using the poly mode quite a bit on that one. And of course, their DCO 106, their Juno 106 DAW or VST rather, is just fantastic as well. And yeah, so that's Cherry. I'm a big fan of the stuff Cherry Audio have been putting out.
Yeah, they're really knocking it out of the park. Everyone that's come out's just been better and better. I actually used the poly mode on my remix for Blacklight.
Really?
Recently. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And for those who don't know, Adam, the wonderful gentleman we had on just a moment ago, is one half of the duo known as Blacklights, along with Brian B., who will be the subject of the Zoom Spotlight series tomorrow evening. So got to give a shout out to Brian B. and Adam for that one.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for Darren or for Mark from our list of participants here? Just wave your hand, or do you have any question?
Brian,
I've got a question.
Sure, go Randall.
Oh,
I thought that was Randall. Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself.
That's okay.
That was Brian B.
We all look alike to you, don't we, Jim?
Yeah. No comment.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't me. I was going to make a funny joke about thermal noise and unbiased PN junctions and synthesizers when they're paired with diodes and transistors, but I'm going to leave that one alone.
Good idea. Sorry about that, Brian. Go ahead, buddy.
That's okay. I have a question for each of you. First, for Darren. Where is it that you keep all of your trophies and awards that you've collected over the past few years?
I'll show you. Can you see them?
I can.
No, those are all my sons. I don't have any trophies.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
And for Mark, is there any song written by another artist that you wish you had written yourself?
Hell to the yeah.
And what would those songs be?
I do get quite jealous sometimes. There's the odd song I listen to and I think, God damn, I would have killed to have written that song. There's been a few actually, and literally I do get exactly that feeling as a writer. I think, God, why couldn't I have written something like that? One of them, believe it or not, was by a young guy, really young guy. He's only like 17 or 18, I think. But it's become a global, massive, multi-million-pound hit. It was Alan Walker, Faded, was one of them. That was one of the songs, massive hit. If you just Alan Walker, Faded, he's huge, absolutely massive. That was one of the songs I heard, and it just bit me instantly. It just hit me right in the chest, and I just thought, God, that song just connected with me on a multi. And the other song was Chandelier by Sia.
Mm.
I think the first time I heard that, I remember sitting in my chair being covered in goosebumps when I heard her voice, and I literally was crying. And I don't cry very often about song, but it just connected with me on every kind of possible cerebral level. It was just unbelievable. Yeah. I don't get that feeling very often where the little hairs stand up. Well, I don't have any, everything's waxed, but I mean, you know, if I had any, they would have, you know, they would have stood up. But yeah, that's probably two songs I can think of sort of in the recent couple of years. Yeah.
I wish I wrote Enjoy the Silence.
Oh. Yeah.
Kicking myself that I didn't come up with that first.
I wish I wrote There's a Tear in My Beer.
Actually, you know what? I wish I wrote the Happy Birthday song, because everybody knows that, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, what's that one Mariah Carey comes out every year, isn't it? What is that? I don't want a lot for Christmas. That one, you know, but that comes out. I mean, if you the royalties on that could feed you forevermore, couldn't it? It's like,
yeah,
crazy.
Yes, indeed. Anybody else? Any questions? Sean, I see you. Sean from Eminent Soul, Endwell, New York. Take it away.
Let me unmute. Hey, speaking of Christmas, would you guys consider recording a Christmas song?
Like an original or a cover? I don't know if I can write a Christmas song. I suppose it's possible.
All you got to do is use a DX7, man. Come on.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, with an original vocoder blowpipe in it. Yamaha DX7 with a blowpipe. Actually, Darren, it's been something I've been meaning to tell you for some time now. I've just been building up to it. I've been working on a little number. I don't know whether it'll come to anything, but I'm sure you can find some accompaniment for it. I've just got the hook at the moment in my head. It goes something like this. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. And that's all I've got. I don't know if you can fill in the blanks for me, but it may be something, it may be nothing, but you know.
I feel some chords right now coming on. Let's see.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we could do that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's.
Actually, the other guys have got some great ideas to bolt onto it. Between us, we might have a hit here.
Once bitten and twice shy.
Oh, nice voice.
We could do a We Are the World version of it.
But you still.
There you go.
Oh gosh, I George Michael. I'm sorry. I adored him. I love George Michael.
Oh my God, hell to the air. He is my idol.
What are you pointing at, Jeremy?
Is
that George Michael?
It's a big George Michael thing with a sign by him.
Oh wow!
No way.
Well, that's what they tell me, and I'm prepared to accept it at face value.
Well, you know if it's genuine or not. If they say it was signed last week, you know it's not genuine.
Yeah, right. I did predate that. Thankfully, I've at least got that on my side.
And I just got to throw this out there. I am, in fact, a very big Wham fan. I'm not ashamed of that. So, in fact, I just ordered the Wham Make It Big 1984 tour T-shirt off of 80stees.com. So, or no, Rockabilia. Yeah, one of those. So
they did a really good cover of Jive Talkin' that I'm quite fond of.
Wham?
Yes.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yes, look it up.
Wow.
I'm a massive George Michael and Wham fan. I mean, I was listening the other day too. I'd forgotten how good the songs were. One of it, somebody told me everything she wants, and everything she sees. You know, when I hear that song, I just want to get up and put some white shorts on, you know, and just, you know, shake my tennis racket. I really do. It's yeah, it just is. How can you, and like Club Tropicana, I mean, you know, as soon as you hear that, you can smell summer when you hear it. I mean, to conjure that feel into a song is just genius. I mean, I don't know. I think until one singers always say about singers talk about other singers sometimes, and I hear them, and I always say, before you judge anyone, try singing along with the track, and you'll realize the pedigree and prowess that person commands vocally. Because until you actually sing along with it, you don't realize how demanding that is on your range or on the timbre of your voice. You really got to dig deep to kind of go to meet the likes of Freddie Mercury and George Michael and Prince. You don't realize what these guys could do. It's just insane. And yeah, sad to think they've all gone. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, Freddie Mercury is, like, for me, one of the pinnacle ones. But George Michael and wow, just I remember, and how ironic it is, or that he passed away on Christmas Day. I mean, that's one thing I'll always remember. And I actually he's one of the ones that when he passed away, I actually cried. I mean, I'm not somebody that gets too worked up emotionally about stuff like that, but I was genuinely just absolutely devastated when I got the news that he died.
Yeah, definitely. I remember being in a friend's house at Christmas, and I'd never been to his house, actually. We were friends for years. I'd never actually been to his house, and we went to his house, and he was sort of introducing me to his mum and all the rest of it. And then while he was getting ready, we were going out, he was getting ready sort of in between his bathroom and room, and he said, just have a listen to this while I'm getting ready a minute. And he stuck on this George Michael album, and then he came in, he just sort of got ready, and Jesus to a Child was playing. And I sat on the bed, I was reduced to rubble. The tears had run down. I had a face full of makeup on and eyeliner, ready to go out. I'd made myself look like, proper killer to go out, to impress the boys, as you do, when you meet. Right. But, it was like, I looked like Ozzy Osbourne by the time Jesus to a Child had finished. My makeup had run down my face. I've never, ever bawled to a song like that in my life. It's the most exquisitely beautiful song. His voice in that song does something to me that I just can't explain. Right. It doesn't matter what you're doing or what's going on around you. Yeah. You can have chaos around you. You play that song, and I defy you not to be not for it to stop time. Almost, time just stops when you listen to it, because you cannot help but gravitate to that voice and that song.
Absolutely true. And even the synth pad that he uses in that is so atmospheric and soothing, and just it pierces you. Yeah. Just everything. Yeah. And then without a doubt, one of my absolute favorite tunes of his, Jesus to a Child. So here's one for all of you here that are participating. What is your favorite Wham song? We'll start with you, Mark. What is your favorite Wham song?
My favorite Wham song, I've got a couple. So my first one used to be I don't want your freedom.
My wife's favorite.
I don't want to play around. But I think lately I've just been listening to Everything She Wants. I think at the moment I'm back in there because it's got this kind of retro 80s vibe. I'm very much with that.
Right on. My the one that I've been having in my head lately is you can have my credit card, baby, but keep your red hot fingers off my money, lady. All I know is what do you know that one from the Make It Big album? I don't think it was ever a single, but oh my gosh, I love that one. And of course, Careless Whisper.
Make It Big for years.
Yeah, Careless Whisper is I still think one of the greatest songs ever written by mankind. I mean, just love the tune, love the sax, and of course, speaking of Everything She Wants, I love that extended version where he does the my situation never changes, walking in and out of that door. Of course, I'm a horrible singer, right? I don't do justice to George Michael, but yeah, it's a great song. Okay, who
he was the one off.
Anybody else? Any other Wham fans here? Any Jeremy? How about you? What's your favorite Wham tune?
Well, I would say historically it'd be Careless Whisper, and it's the extended mix, the one that starts out with those really nice pads and just develops. Yeah. And I'm convinced it started out as that longer version, and then they just edited it down.
Yeah,
because it's a very natural progression when you listen to the extended mix. But Everything You Want is the one I keep coming back to, the same as Mark. But I had so many because as a bass player, I hear it a different way as well too. I mean, I spent so much time learning those lines that Dion Estes plays.
Dion Estes, yeah.
On things like Club Tropicana, you know, Wake Me Up Before Me You Go, there's some genius virtuoso playing happening in that. And yeah, he just hits me on so many levels. But sometimes I think, how did he get inside of these characters so hard? Because how does he, at what, 19 years of age, understand and write from that position that he writes from and everything she wants? How the hell do you get that at that age, to be that aware? And you'd have to think he must have had a lot of close friends where this had happened, you know, that maybe had a baby young or something like that, and they'd kind of dropped out of the party scene. But, you know, you could tell from the way he writes that he really observed and cared about people.
Yeah.
And he could really get inside those characters. And Jesus to a Child, you know, when I heard the story around that, is that he wrote that for Felipe, which is clearly the love of his life. And he's singing that song after he passed. I mean, that just kills me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just kills me.
Rips your heart out. Yeah. Darren, how about you?
For me, it's definitely a toss-up between Young Guns and Wham Rap.
Oh, Wham!
Young Guns. It's such a cool
way.
song. I remember listening to Wham Rap. I mean, not Young Guns, and just being like, "Who are these guys? This is such a cool song."
Yeah.
And just the back and forth and the like, kind of the you know, the I forget the term for it, but the chatter, you know, the kind of singing back to each other and stuff. It's so cool. But yeah, Wham Rap's great too.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Oh, I love it.
I can't sing it, but I just love the sound of those songs. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
And I'd forgotten about Young Guns for so many years, and then I heard it or I saw it, like, you know, like you're going through your Facebook feed and there's like videos and stuff that pop up, and there was a video for Young Guns, and it was like looked like they were performing it on Top of the Pops or something on stage, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen this or heard this song in years, and I loved it so much back in the day. And
such lies. You accidentally sent me that video of you singing with your hairbrush in the mirror about 2 weeks ago. Lies.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go with a solo song called White Light.
Really? Right on. I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
George Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, we'll have to put it on. I picked Freedom. I found the 45 while we were waiting. And if it's Wham, and for George Michael, Father Figure has always been a favorite.
Oh, Father Figure.
I just found the video. I'll put it on now. Here it is. I've never heard White Light.
Sounds like an OMD track.
I'd like to put in my vote for Praying for Time.
Oh, heavens, yes. Love that one. Love that one.
Oh, I'm liking this already. I don't know if you guys can hear this properly.
Yeah.
It's got Kate Moss in the video. What's not to like?
Oh, nice. Love the dancing, Edgar.
This is proper electro. I would never have associated George Michael with this kind of song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18.5 million views already.
Wow. And just in the last 2 minutes, how about that?
Yeah.
Word travels fast.
Right on.
So I just kept breathing, my friend.
My song.
This is a fantastic song, Adam. Excellent choice.
There's no white light and I'm not the road.
It's a shame we're in like lockdown. Like puts me in a proper like clubby mood.
Yeah.
I got so much more than
Can I do like big box, little box?
Of course. Start voguing. Come on, we got to start voguing. Right on. May, how about you? What is your favorite Wham or George Michael?
I have to say, Wake Me Up Before You Go, just because of the nostalgia that puts me back in, what, 6th, 7th grade?
Nice. Nice.
It's happy.
Right on. Cool. Any other questions for Mark or Darren here?
Yeah, I have one for Mark.
Sure. Go ahead, Adam.
Have you ever thought or have you attempted to write a musical?
Have I ever thought about what, sorry?
Have you ever thought about or attempted to write a musical?
I thought about writing a musical, definitely. Yeah, I've actually started writing a few songs for one, but I've never taken it further than that. I just sat to the piano and wrote some ideas down. But yeah, it was it didn't kind of get very far, but it was going to be kind of I can share it with you anyway, it's not a secret, but I mean somebody can, I don't care if somebody intellectually wants to run with the idea, but it was about it was using Erasure's track Hideaway to tell the story of to tell the whole musical soundscape of the whole, almost tell the story of the band through this young boy that is going through his rite of passage to come out and find his place in society in his early teens, kind of thing, because it's kind of a little bit like my own story. So I think, yeah, I had an idea to do a musical like that, but I know there's an Erasure musical that's just come out by a fantastic team of people. But yeah, it was going to be through the perspective of this young guy, and it was using Hideaway, and it probably would have been called Hideaway, the musical. It would have been the story of Erasure, but told through, you know, Erasure's music would have been the backdrop of his, you know, finding himself going out to clubs, you know, coming into contact with different people, different influences in his life, stuff like that. So yeah, I had that very raw seed of an idea once, but I didn't realize how much, you know, I don't have the prowess to be able to develop an idea for musicals. I have the ability to write a musical, but yeah, I think if I was with a team and we were all feeding off each other, and we all had the ability to catalyze ideas quickly, I think I would probably commit to it. But yeah, no. But thank you for asking.
I like that idea, actually. just because, I mean, like I said earlier, Hideaway is you know, one of my absolute favorite Erasure tunes, and that's
mine too.
A wonderful idea.
Set up the Zoom meeting, Jim.
What's that?
I said set up the Zoom meeting for it.
Well, I would have no idea where to go with it. Definitely. I mean, I love musicals, and of course I love Erasure, but yeah, I don't know how I would do. It'd definitely be a challenge. Definitely be a challenge for sure. Right on. Any other questions for Darren or for Mark? Anyone?
Oh, I've got one. I've got another one for Darren.
Sure.
Are there any female vocalists that you want to work with?
Like realistically, or just like out there, like
any?
In the world?
Yeah, any.
I wouldn't say there is anyone specific, but I've always thought about trying to do a song with a female vocalist, but
he's got one now.
I was gonna say, Mark, you literally ripped the words out of my mouth. I've got a great female vocalist right now with Mark, so I really don't.
He's got the worst of both. He's got the worst of both worlds. He's got a gender fluid, worst of both worlds. 50% male, 50% female. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you one that I would love to hear you work with, though, Darren. Nina Bolt. You know, the queen of synthwave.
Yeah. Gosh.
I would love to hear what you and her could do on a track.
Definitely.
That would be awesome. I love the work that she does.
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with her stuff. I'm not super close to it, but yeah, I know what she sounds like. She's a very, very good singer.
Yeah.
I also really liked the stuff that Bridget Gray does. I mean, I think she's got a great sound, her and Kurt, and then the stuff that the song she did with Matt,
Yeah.
Matthias. Yeah, I think she's got a really nice sound too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I guess Mark is right. You got the best of both worlds with him.
Exactly. I really don't have to look far.
Right on.
It was funny when the video came out to mirroring, and my friends are watching because my sort of non-music friends, they don't know me in music. They don't make that necessarily association with the music side of it. And when it came out, they said, "There's a female singing that song." I said, "No, that is me." And they were like, "What? But you've got long hair and you've got and you look cute." And they said, I shouldn't fancy you, but I kind of do. I said, well, that's okay. That's okay. Let yourself go. Yeah, that's fine. And but yeah, there was a couple of comments made about that. I think it's the two worlds, isn't it? There's my sort of day-to-day me, and then there's the music me. But I like doing that reinvention thing. I don't like conforming to categories and fitting in people's pigeon boxes just to make them feel comfortable with themselves. I like ruffling feathers and shaking conventions and norms. I like continually reinventing myself in different ways, and my family are completely behind me. And the people, they don't judge me for those things. They just see it as an extension of my songwriting. It's just another arm of being creative, and I love it. It's great. Today a dress, tomorrow combats and dock boots.
Right on.
We love it too, Mark.
I love you too, Darren.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about you, Mark.
Oh,
yep.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think I've had some nice comments. So putting the music to one side just for 1 second, I've had some nice comments of some younger people who've actually come to me and have thanked me for opening the door of acceptance to make it easier for them, because they've had people around them who said they like the music I make, and because my image is always morphing, and because I kind of make it's okay not to be okay with being a certain way. They said that it gave them the extra bit of courage they needed to actually just face up to who they were. And I've had a couple of really heartful, one really reduced me to tears, but it was a lovely message. And I don't even sometimes realize or know the impact. None of us do, I guess. None of us know the impact any of our words have on other people. You certainly don't understand the impact your music has on someone. But when you get validation like that privately, it does make me think that even if I've just changed the course of someone's life, or even if I've just taken away even a modicum of misery for someone in some way, it's been worth doing it, so.
That is absolutely fantastic.
As for being a role model, no, I'm not a role model. I'm completely reckless. I'm completely, no, I'm not a role model. I don't want to be a role model. It's too much responsibility.
Well, if I can just kind of tack on a little bit to that, Mark, one of the things that I've absolutely respected about you from the beginning of the first time that we connected through social media several years ago is just watching how truly kind and compassionate of a soul you are. Not just an advocate for, as you mentioned earlier with animals, but you're just a good person. And the more that our society goes on, the more important it is, to me anyway, to find people that are just good human beings and that are just exude some manner of positivity. And for me anyway, I mean, stepping outside of your music, that's just as important to me, to know that you're a good person. And there's just so much that I admire about who you are as a person, that you've opened up with, on Facebook and whatnot. And just it's just such a true pleasure to connect with people like you and Darren, because Darren is the same way. Darren is not only just immensely talented, he is just such a great guy. And I can honestly say that about pretty well all of you that are in here in this live event. Brian B is the same way. Adam, I think the world of him, and May is just awesome. I think Eric C. Powell, who I think is still here with us, just good people. And I think our world needs more of that. There's so much ugliness and negativity out there that I tend to gravitate more towards the people that are trying to do something to inject some modicum of positivity and kindness and good in the world. And I'm a big believer that if you do that enough, eventually it does come back to you. And I see all the amazing things that you've accomplished, Mark, and I have no doubt that it's because you're doing the right thing.
I try and do the right thing. I mean, I make some bad life decisions sometimes, and I say and do things which perhaps are not the best choices for me to make. I'm not perfect. I would never ever. I'm always instantly suspicious of anyone who professes themselves to be perfect or some angel, because that's what I'm not. And I can't live up to that because there's too much expectation and pressure to live up to that. And I always say I'm real. I say sometimes what you will get, what I can promise, you'll always get authentically me, in whatever form that takes. It'll always be me. And I try to be consistent, and I always try to be kind. I always try to help people if I can. Sometimes I don't always get that right. I mess up. I'm not a robot. I'm human. I'm flawed, but I try where I can to make a difference. And I've met really good people, and people are often kind to me. But when I did social media, originally I wasn't going to do social media. The reason for that was I used to have Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts. I cancelled all of those, and I cancelled my Facebook as well. And the reason I kept the Facebook one was because when we went out on tour, people said, well, how can we reach you? If I wanted to message you, how can we, so I kept it because it has a tangible factor that people can talk to me if they want to. And I kind of like that, because especially through lockdown, it's kept me sane. People actually contacting me has kept me sane, because I've been locked in my bedroom for the best part of 14, 15 months. So apart from trips, to the studio when the lockdown has been relaxed for a week or so, that's all I've had. It's been like an umbilical cord to the outside world. So I think if I hadn't had Messenger and on my mental health would have been in a much worse, a much worse place than it is now. I'm actually in a not a bad place, but I definitely think that, we all moan and whinge about Facebook. Even I'm guilty of that on times. But actually, on the face of it, I've met some of the loveliest, kindest, warmest, heartfelt people I've ever met in my life through Facebook. It's connected me. And Facebook has brought me Darren, has brought me Adam Collier, has brought me, umpteen other collaborators, Peter Rainman, Matthias, in Canada. I've met these people all essentially through Messenger, and through being in different music groups and everything. So it certainly has got more positives than negatives for me. But yeah, like I said, I try to be real with people. I'm always real. And I said, if I was going to stay on Facebook, because my family have had these deep-heated discussions with me about some of my choices on Facebook. For example, when there was one not too long ago, I think I took a selfie at bedtime, and I was like wearing nothing. I always make sure you can't see anything. It's always very tastefully stage managed, but I think it was close to being naked, and I think there was a line maybe mildly crossed by then. But I've always said, people, whatever you see of me on Facebook will be authentically me, and it's not that stage managed. It is me, and the words are mine. I type them. Nobody manages that account for me, so it's all me. And if I'm going to be on Facebook, I would rather you get to know me warts and all, rather than a version of me. I don't want to give you a filtered, stage moderated mix of me. I want to give you me, or I'd rather come off it altogether, because who am I? If I'm not being authentically me, who am I doing it for? Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why am I there? Why am I there?
Right.
Who am I? I'll lose my identity in the end. I won't even know who I am myself, so.
Right. Yeah. No, completely understand what you mean. And it's, just, I think it's just further a testament to what kind of individual you are. I mean, you like you say, you're real, you're just honest. And, the world needs more people like that are willing to show that much of themselves, I think, unapologetically.
I showed a bit too much, but yeah. I have to be careful of that. I've been gently and politely told behind the scenes that I need to just everything in moderation.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions for Mark or for Darren here before we wrap things up?
I've got this on for you. Can you hear this, Jim?
Oh yeah. Everything she wants, everything she sees.
He's so handsome in this video. Wow.
Oh yes. You know, for years I wanted to get my hair like him. I dyed it blonde and grew it out long. Oh, love that look in that video that he has.
Jim, you're wearing dolphin shorts right now.
No, actually they're Raiders shorts. Sean
Good
Kelly
save.
would be the one wearing the dolphin shorts.
This is why I wear a baseball cap.
Or wearing any shorts at all.
What?
Right.
Who's not? Who isn't?
Love the hair mark. Love it.
Sean's not wearing
Pants
any
check.
shorts at all.
Pants check.
Eminent Soul does not wear pants.
Right. So this is what we say: photo or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's
I
really
lied
the
to you.
reason why Darren doesn't want to play live.
I've got jeans on. I've got denims on.
The real reason Darren doesn't want to play live is he doesn't like to wear pants.
Exactly.
I saw that, Randall. Randall's getting
No
Yeah,
pants.
Darren, you are always in shorts a lot, aren't you?
For the last year, going on 13 months, I've only worn shorts.
Hmm.
I think I wore pants maybe a handful of times. Yeah.
I'm with you. I only have pants in my car in case there's a client coming in, but I think I've only put them on twice in a year.
Yeah. Sandals too. I don't wear shoes. I don't think I've worn a pair of socks.
I don't like wearing socks.
Pants.
Socks
No.
are
You got-
outdated.
This is nerd, isn't it? Socks with Vans.
Oh, Randall, I'm so disappointed.
That's okay. No, I'm at an age where I can admit it, and it's comfortable.
Yeah, you're right. Comfort over anything nowadays.
That's right.
I've been comfortable for 15 months around the house. I've literally looked like I've fallen out of a shop doorway for like 15 months. But you slip into a bad habit. You think, well, who's going to see me? And then you.
These have been my friend for the last, I don't know.
Oh,
since before
heck
Christmas.
yes. There you go.
But yeah,
My-
they're nice.
my dad
and
always
fuzzy
wears-
inside. Oh, so
My dad
comfy.
still wears those. Yeah. I'm still working on my year-long COVID, hairstyle here. I haven't cut my hair since March of 2020.
Yeah, I think I
Scary-
got a
scary
haircut in
stuff.
like August or sometime, and now I'm definitely due for another one.
I think I look like Cousin It at the moment, but it looks kind of cool. I'm feeling this, so I'm gonna keep learning. I'm just gonna keep letting it grow. I love it. I don't know if I'll leave it like this, but I've got so many different hair pieces. I keep changing it up anyway.
There you go.
This is my real hair, just for the record. This is my real hair.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions here? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? All right. Well, just once again, I would like to remind everybody, tomorrow, of course, is the Soul of Synth-Pop's live radio broadcast. And tomorrow we're going to get even more of Mark and Darren, because the first hour of my radio show tomorrow will be dedicated to the music of these two fine gentlemen. And
Wow.
we'll be playing some Shelter from Mark. We'll be playing Mark's work he did with Matthias, and we'll be playing Darren's work with Eric C. Powell, and also with Eminent Soul, might I add. And then in the second hour, we're going to dedicate it to Brian B. and Adam Collier, better known as the duo Blacklight, who, of course, will be the subject of the Zoom Spotlight series tomorrow night. So I got a really great radio show lined up for everybody. And I'm even breaking my rule, my self-imposed rule for the radio show tomorrow. And I'm going to play some EBM and some industrial, some Nitzareb and some front 2 4-2 and 9 Inch Nails and
Nice.
all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, tune into that for the second hour for sure. And then of course some other Zoom Spotlight series that we have coming up. A week from today, from Stockholm, Sweden, we're going to have more. In fact, I think is that Matthias from More that is here with us. I think he might be part of the chat today here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Matthias, it's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Hi.
Wonderful. So we'll have more coming into the Zoom
Can I just
Spotlight.
say, sorry, can I just interrupt? I'm a massive More fan.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Thank you,
I
thank you.
agree.
They're guys I've been watching from the shadows. I might have been stalking a little bit.
It's okay. You're welcome.
I'm just asking for a friend.
With good reason. We love More, and
Yes.
can't wait to do that Zoom Spotlight with Matthias, Lino, and of course Magnus. And then on the 25th, next Sunday, we're going to be doing a open discussion where we're going to be reviewing and celebrating the anniversaries of the Erasure Chorus album, which I believe is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, and Depeche Mode's Speak and Spell album, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary. So we'll have an open kind of roundtable discussion, just kind of reviewing and talking about how much those albums impacted our lives as fans of the synth pop genre. And then after that, we have DJ Oren Amram will be my guest on May 1st, and he'll talk to us about his story and all the wonderful advocacy that he has done for the genres of synth pop and dark wave, synth wave, and everything else under the sun there. And coming up on the 15th of May will be a special review edition of OMD's Sugar Tax album. And
It's my favorite OMD album, apart from Crush.
Yeah, and I'm in the process of getting Stuart Kershaw of OMD to join us for that discussion. Those of you that know me know that I'm very dear friends with Paul Humphreys of OMD, and of course Paul was not involved in that album, so Paul won't be joining us for for that one probably. But we're going to have a great discussion about the Sugar Tax album, and then on May 23rd, we're going to do a Zoom Spotlight series with Michael Oakley, the synthwave guy there, based out of Toronto, Canada. So Michael Oakley will be joining us. And then after that, you'll be the first folks that are going to be hearing that I am now happy to confirm George from Alien Skin will be joining us on the 22nd of May for the Zoom Spotlight series. So got some great ones coming up, and I'm working hard on getting some other names that I'm connected with, including Paul Humphreys. We should be getting him on hopefully before too long to do a little chat with OMD, and we might even get Andy McCluskey as well. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. So, but those are some of the ones that I'm working on right now, and lots of exciting things. And yes, Randall, you have a question?
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had a sugar tax story when you're ready.
Okay. Well, can't wait to hear it. We'll get to that in just a sec. So yeah, all kinds of great stuff coming up, folks. And we're also going to try to get Claude from Anything Box to join us. He's agreed to do it. We just have to set up a date, so that'll be coming probably in May or June for that one. And so yeah, I'm going to be. If you have any other bands that I regularly play on my show that you as participants would like to see me include, then I'm certainly always open to those as well. But once again, I would like to extend my deepest thanks and admiration and appreciation to both Darren and Mark today for joining us for this wonderful discussion. Thank you for taking time out of your day, and to all of you, the live participants that joined us today, particularly Adam and Randall and Matthias and Jeremy Hay, who is joining us all the way from New Zealand. Can't even imagine what time of day it's got to be there. But thank you to all of you for joining me.
It's tomorrow in New Zealand, isn't it?
It is tomorrow in New Zealand, yeah.
It's 9 o'clock in your future.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
No, it's 9 a.m. here.
Time traveler.
Really good friend of mine has just joined us as well, all the way from Sweden. Joachim is in the house here.
Oh yeah, Joachim. Hi.
Well, welcome, Joachim.
Nice to meet you all.
Hi.
I was a little bit late.
You too.
Next time I join the full meeting.
Wonderful. I have a big love and respect for Swedish artists. So
I heard a lot of interesting keywords from you, such as synthwave and darkwave and the Synth-Pop legendary name, and also the topic of speak and spell. So I would very much love to join you next time.
wonderful. Well, you're certainly welcome to join us, and welcome to join in on the chat anytime you'd like to. We're happy to have you here. And I'm loving some of those synthesizers I'm seeing behind you.
Yeah, I'm a crazy dumbass. So I have most of the original cool ones.
Ah, nice. Very nice. Okay.
Can I just say,
Yeah,
sorry, before I stay silent forever, can I just say, I wasn't quite sure how this was going to work today, because I've never done this kind of format of a forum discussion. But for what it's worth, this has absolutely been the loveliest thing ever, just to be able to actually speak real time rather than everything like staged and pre-recorded. Even my backdrop isn't staged, it's real. It's actually a blanket, which this is a blanket hanging over a set of bunk beds in the guest room. So this is like, I just wanted to make it look posh for you guys. So it's really not posh.
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate the kind words here, and please spread the word. I'd love for the whole goal of this is just to bring people together that have a common interest and love for the music and a passion for it, both from the creative side and from the for want of a better word, the consumer side, the people that are just fans and listeners. It's a great way. My goal is just to bring the community closer together, and what better way to do it when we can actually interact with each other and see each other in real time through this wonderful technology that we have here. So it's something that guys like Darren and Randall, they know that we've been testing this format for about the last 6 months, and it's really made a big difference. And we've really enjoyed getting an opportunity to know each other a little bit better. And it just like I said, it's all about injecting that positivity and, the rising tide raises all ships kind of philosophy that I want to do with this. So
I'd love to do a regular thing of this, just as music lovers.
Yeah.
So not as artists necessarily, but just as music lovers, like even like each guy could like play something that they're working on, or play a bit of something, a music they've bought. It would just be nice to do this as a regular kind of, even if it was like once a month or something, just as a, and grow it that way. Because I'm only speaking for myself, but I personally love this. This has given me such a nice sense of purpose and belonging. You feel part of, you genuinely, tangibly feel part of something.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, and
I'll be quiet now, promise.
No, not at all, Mark. And like I said, please, if you're really enjoying this, please, tell other people about it. We'd love to have more people join us. And of course, if you're out walking the dog, Mark, and you run into Mr. Bell, tell him we said hello.
Oh, I'll be sure to write it all over the strip club walls. I will.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So, Randall, before we go, tell us your sugar tax story to kind of prime us for the OMD sugar tax thing that we're going to do.
Oh, well, am I on mute? I'm good.
You're good.
You're good.
I have a lot of people really think that that's their favorite OMD album, and I didn't think about it until we opened a show for Book of Love maybe 2 years ago, and Ted Octaviano was just hanging out with everybody, because it's great when you get to do shows like that, because you get to hang out with the artist for a long time, before, during, after the show, right? And Stephen and I were standing around with just the three of us, and Ted turns to us and goes, "OMD, what's your favorite album? Name it." And I was like, oh, this is going to be a trick question, but I really love the old stuff like Architecture and Morality.
Yes.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Wrong." And Steven says, "Sugar Tax." And Ted goes, "Ding, ding, 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 ding."
Oh my
anyway,
God.
I was like,
that is
damn
so
it, I love that album too. I should have answered Sugar Tax. Now he thinks I'm lame.
Well, speaking of sugar tax, I've let this slip a couple of times, but Eminent Soul are working on a cover from a track that's on Sugar Tax called "Speed of Light," which I think is a track that should have been released as a single, but sadly never was. So that's yeah. The Sugar Tax album for me was one that I wore out at least 2 copies of on cassette. I just listened to it that summer of '91, and actually next month marks the 30th anniversary of when it was released, because it came out in May of '91, and it's to this day. I mean, I'm a big Paul Humphreys fan, but that album is got a very special place in my heart as far as being an OMD fan goes, and I think it's one of their most solid pop albums they've ever done, and like you, Randall, I think my all-time favorite OMD album is still probably Architecture Morality, and I love Dazzle Ships and whatnot, but I also love The Pacific Age, which so many OMD fans absolutely hate, and I love the Sugar Tax album.
Crush has to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Darren.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I love Crush.
so it's between Crush so it was Crush always up until Sugar Tax, and I think it's Sugar Tax first, now Crush. But Secret from Crush is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Secret, yeah.
I think I learned to sing harmony. The first harmony I ever learned was Secret.
Really?
The bridge, when the bridge hits, just that third harmony. It's the first one I ever really heard and could sing along with.
My favorite OMD song is So in Love. I'm so in love with it. I just can't get enough of that song, and the extended version of that is just unreal. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Love it.
I don't know how Andy McCluskey can get so high on that. And he still has it. I mean, when they perform live, he can still nail those notes. I mean, it's just it's amazing. They're such an electrifying act still to see them perform. And
I'm kicking myself that I didn't join you guys in Vegas a couple of years ago for that show.
If you had, you would have. For those who don't know, Paul Humphreys. I'll give you before we go here. I'll give you a little quick background of my connection to Paul Humphreys. Back in 2000, I promoted a concert here in Salt Lake City. Initially, Alphaville and Camouflage were supposed to be headlining acts.
No way.
Alphaville had to back out, so we had to reschedule the show. And when we rescheduled it, Camouflage were not able to make it, and it was going to be their first time performing in the U.S. And so I was left with having to find an artist that would be as big of a draw as Alphaville, who were the headliner. And just as luck would have it, Paul Humphreys had just started opening up dates for a solo tour where he was going to be performing the greatest hits of OMD. And it was the first time that he would have gotten on stage since the 101 show with Depeche Mode, because that was the last live show that he did before he left OMD back in about '89 or so. And so I put out a bid, and Paul's manager accepted it. And so it was Paul Humphreys and another name that some of you might recognize, Miss Claudia Brucken of Propaganda.
Oh my God.
And so
was it 1-2? Were they called 1-2?
They were not called 1-2 at the time. So Claudia and Paul were just performing together, and they had a band of session musicians. They came to Salt Lake and did a show for me, and it was, in fact, the first time that Paul performed live. So I gave Paul his first live performance opportunity since the Depeche Mode 101 show. And then Paul and I hit it off really well. We're both massive Kraftwerk fans. We're both big synthesizer and EMU sampler and Fairlight fans. And so Paul and I had a lot in common, and we became friends. And at the time, I was working for eBay's corporate. I worked for eBay, the big auction site, and they had a facility here in Salt Lake that I worked out of. And so one day, Paul and I were just kind of talking about some of the challenges that he was having, because him and Claudia were planning on doing some original recordings. They just hadn't come up with a name or how they were going to attack the idea. And so I came up with the idea with Paul of, hey, let's, eBay is kind of a really big thing. Why don't we do something that nobody has ever thought of? Why don't we pull you together, and why don't you release an album exclusively on eBay to where only people can buy it on eBay? And Paul loved the idea. Claudia loved the idea. And they got Martin Gore of Depeche Mode to contribute to the EP that we were going to release. And of course, they ended up calling themselves 1-2. And so I formed a company called Ubersonic, which was basically the distribution agent for 1-2 for the very first release that they did. And
Oh
so
my God.
Paul and I both did articles in The Guardian, and the BBC interviewed me and Paul, and it was a real, I was kind of chuffed to be interviewed by the BBC. That was kind of a cool thing for me. And so I helped launch Paul and Claudia's 1-2 project with their Item EP that came out in 2004. And of course, that was also significant, again, with Martin Gore, because it was the first instance where he had actually co-written a song outside of the bonds of Depeche Mode. And of course, he'd always done, he'd done a couple of solo albums leading up to that, but he had never actually written, helped co-write a song outside of Depeche Mode. And so the work that he did with 1-2 and Claudia Brucken was a track called Cloud 9. And Martin contributes that amazing Enjoy the Silence-esque Gretsch guitar solo at the end of the song that is just absolutely identifiably Martin Gore. And so that's my connection with Paul. And Paul and I have remained good friends all the way through these years. And every time Paul comes to the United States on tour with OMD, I'm always able to connect with him and hang out with him for a little bit of time. And so Paul is a very dear friend of mine, and we've known each other for 21 years now, and he's just an absolute gentleman. And so I'm a huge OMD fan, and kind of like with you, Mark, where it must be with you with Andy Bell. I was just I have to pinch myself every once in a while to remind myself, I'm actually friends with a guy that I grew up listening to that is a very big reason why I do what I do. And it's so wonderful because the guys in OMD are exactly how you described Vince and Andy. They're so unpretentious. They're so approachable. They're so, just regular guys, if you will, so down to earth and humble. And it's just really been a joy for me to get to know them. And it was several years before I got to meet Andy McCluskey and Martin Cooper and Mal Holmes and the other guys, but I've gotten to be, fairly friendly with some of them as well. So, but yeah, that's my OMD story. So yeah.
I would be, I'd be boy crushing on that one forever. I'm a massive OMD fan. I've always been a massive OMD fan. So I think I'd probably, be a bit of a nervous wreck around them too. Because, I remember listening to, I remember dancing around in my kind of tight little hot pants, listening to Tesla Girls when it first came out. And I was like, and Electricity. I mean, when I heard them songs as a kid, I hear that riff, I hear the drum. As soon as I hear that, and I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, what's this? What is this sound on my ears? And I just fell in love with OMD straight away. So yeah, meeting them would be a different thing. I'd probably, I'd probably find a little bit of pee would come out of me or something. I get overexcited.
I'm with you. That is a great album.
So yeah, when we did the Soul of Synth-Pop fan meetup, the very first one, I think it was, OMD, we held it in Las Vegas, and because OMD were playing a show at the House of Blues there, and so I organized a meetup of fans of my show that lived in North America, obviously, but there were also several OMD fans that traveled to Las Vegas from the UK. And so we invited them as well. And we're sitting there in the restaurant at the House of Blues, and Paul gives me a call and he says, hey, do you mind if I come and join you for dinner? And so I'm like, let me think about that. Do I mind if you
hang on?
Yeah, please. So we're
not a good time, Paul. Sorry.
So we're there just and Brian B from Blacklight and Mind Machine, he was there with us, and he got.
It was incredible. You all should have been there.
Yeah.
I know. Like I said, I'm still kicking myself for not going.
So just remember, anytime I organize one of those meetups, you never know who's going to show up.
Exactly. We're going to do the next one here in LA, right? For the PSB and New Order show.
Yeah. New Order and Boys. Yeah. And if not, then there's also some discussions about doing a meetup with Claude from Anything Box, with all the guys that did the Anything Box tribute album.
Oh yeah,
Got it.
that'd be fun.
We may try to organize that either in Utah or Nevada or in California. But yeah, we're definitely going to be doing a meetup, and especially now that some of the pandemic restrictions are starting to ease up a little bit, and they're saying that, you know, maybe by June or July they'll be reopening music venues all over.
Yeah, let's do a meetup
great.
and show and big performance.
I agree. We should. Absolutely.
I'll bring my cardboard cutout.
And Darwin, Darren, you can perform with Eminent Soul on stage.
Okay.
Between all of us,
Deal.
we must have like a dozen Juno 106s. We can bring them all.
Sean's got a Juno, don't you?
I sold that one sadly.
Did
All right, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
I have a soft synth Juno 106. But
Yeah, I do too. I've got
I do
two of
too.
them. I've got the Rolling Cloud one and the Cherry Audio one.
Cherry Audio, yeah.
And I guess technically the Arturia, you know,
There's yeah.
I'll bring my Casios though.
Oh yeah, love the Casios.
Remember to
Joachim's
spay and
got one
neuter
going
all
on
of your
there.
Korgs and Casios, Sean.
Oh, I'll bring my corks too. I'll bring Polly.
Ooh, look at that. Joachim's got a Juno there, 106. Look at that. Or is that a 60? No, that's a 60.
That's awesome. I picked up a ESQ1 last weekend. Off
I saw
Craigslist.
that, Randall. How much did you pay for it?
It was 400.
Wow. I thought
But,
it'd be way
ESQ1 is
worth
my
way
favorite synthesizer.
Which one?
ESQ1 is probably my favorite synthesizer. I love the Blade Runner type of sounds on that one.
You
Yeah,
belong.
I'm gonna blow your mind right
Crispy.
now.
It's
Nice.
Whoa.
You
And
see
one
it?
also,
Extra cartridges.
yeah, and the
Yeah,
LED
those things, they don't
display.
work so well anymore. Come to find out, they had little batteries in them too. Damn. And Sonic in their batteries.
Because we are big and Sonic ESQ1 fans here. Very,
cool.
very much so.
Yeah, I think
I like
you know
y'all.
what would be fun, Jim, is
Yeah.
we could have an
What?
ESQ challenge with the group. And we could, whether it's soft synth or real, we could do a ESQ only song.
That would be
I'm
fun.
on.
I have so many old recordings. I just pick one.
And it has to be 100% ESQ.
I have some
Yep.
cassettes somewhere with only ESQ1 songs on it. Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'd have to dig through my tapes, but I know.
But no, I think it would be fun to make one now because you see we're all a little bit better with production.
Just a little.
Darren, I'll
And then
have to
we
come
could
out and
share 'em
borrow
all.
yours.
I'm on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually,
Anybody, you're welcome.
Randall's closer. I'll come and borrow yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably closer.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I
hey,
can't wait
everybody.
I can't wait to come over to America.
We can't wait either, Mark.
Mark, we
I
have
told you
to.
your room's ready.
We have to do like a GoFundMe to get you over here. You've got to join us for some of these get-togethers. Truly.
Yeah, I'm a student at the moment, so yeah, money's
Well,
money's always hard to come by.
Well, we'll see what we can maybe make happen, because I would love to do a. We've been talking about doing a show when we get everybody together, just like a have like Darwin, join Eloquent and Blacklight and Eminent Soul and maybe Eric Powell if he's still on. Just try to figure out a way we can get some folks together and just have a weekend where we just all get together in person and get to enjoy one another's company and play some music together. I think that would be a lot of fun. So we'll have to see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I've never been to America. I've always wanted to go.
Well, we'll have to see if maybe we can facilitate that in some way. That would be awesome.
And until then, this is what it looks like.
Right on. Well, thank you once again, everybody. We went quite a bit longer than an hour, but it sure has been an absolute pleasure talking with all of you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time again out of your Saturday. And all of you, don't forget to tune in tomorrow to the live radio broadcast. I've got a special show prepared for you tomorrow. And then again tomorrow.
Randall has snow. Randall has snow in the sunshine.
Yep, we have it here too.
Really?
Utah. Yeah. Yep. It snowed 2 days. 2 days ago, it snowed here in Utah. Yeah.
Y'all keep that there.
Yes,
Yeah, you can
ma'am.
have your
Yes,
snow.
ma'am.
I'll keep my sunshine. What do you say, Brian and Adam? And Steve, right? You're in SoCal too.
Right on. Well, thank you, everybody. And don't forget the Blacklight Zoom Spotlight series is tomorrow night. And with that, unless anybody has anything else they'd like to add, subtract, multiply, or divide.
I wanted to say hi to everybody that I haven't met. And a special hello to, I keep pushing the wrong button on my phone.
Hold on.
A special hi to May.
Eric, I love that t-shirt. Good heavens. That was an awesome t-shirt. Love that Erasure shirt.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank-
May, thanks for sticking it out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you all as well, because some of you I know, obviously, and some I don't. So it's been really nice actually see it, not just hearing you, but seeing you, because we live in this world where messaging is about all we ever do. So to actually see people is actually makes more sense of everybody, which is really nice. So
yeah. Right on. I agree.
Thanks for listening to me ramble on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Jim,
Thank you, Mark.
for
Thank you.
putting this together
Thank
and having us for sure too. That it was a blast.
You are most
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
And we will have this showing up on, I'll be posting this to the Soul of Synth-Pop YouTube channel. So if you guys ever want to go back and watch it or share the link with your followers, your fans, your friends, your family.
Definitely.
Just to help us to spread the word about this Zoom Spotlight series. And hopefully we'll get some more folks to join us, and hit subscribe on that button on YouTube and the little bell thing so that you get notifications whenever I put up a new video for the Zoom Spotlight series. But with that, folks, again, thank you and have a fantastic weekend. I will see
Thank you, everyone.
tomorrow night. So be well, everyone. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Y'all take care.